Okay, y'all. I'm live. I gave zero uh warning, but he's on the stand and I was listening to it and I want to get to skip the part where he's going over his wait a minute. Oh, wait a minute. Trying to find a good spot. Okay, this is where I guess he couldn't make it as a Marine. Hey, Stadius. Hey, Thangone. Good afternoon. Thank y'all for being here. Short notice. Uh, I brought my laptop in my living room, so I just had of course, I had a spill right before. Hold on, getting a towel. Anyway, I'm about to share it. Like I said, the guy from yesterday is on the stand, and I want to. Hey, Pamela, good to see you. We're gonna hear what they let him, and I've waited long enough now that we can skip forward to things that that is blah blah blah. So let me go ahead and share it in. Hey, Pammy B. Can't chat. I'm glad to see you're here. I gotta hit you back on Twitter. I could hear you. I could hear you. Sorry, I've had a headache, and so I took some medicine to try to. All right, here we go.
And you wanted to go to?
Yes, they did.
Describe to this jury what they asked you to do or what they wanted you to do.
As a recruiter, there are different boxes that I think you get bonuses in a certain sense if you can check, and one of those is the Marine Corps band. So when they found out I had a background as a pianist, they really tried to get me to join the Marine Corps band.
And when they asked you to join the Marine Corps band, what did you say?
I declined. That wasn't the reason I wanted to join. I wanted to experience a different side of life, and I was interested in infantry.
Let's talk
Okay, this
about
is yada yada yada.
OCS.
Come on.
During officer candidate school.
Not that I don't care about his time in the military. I do. I just want to get to what happened. The first part is just bragging about himself. Yeah, that's what I was thinking. So we could really just I might bounce some through this.
Mexico, which is where
Rehabilitated to heal.
I went back to Traveler's Rest where my family is, and I stayed with them while I was healing.
Okay, so he got hurt,
And just
hurt his legs.
To meet the donor and to show the congregation what it sounded like.
And so you were asked to perform using the gift of the piano that the church had received. Is that correct?
Yes.
What was your response to that invitation?
At first, I was inclined to say no because I was about 6 months out of
We're
practice.
praying for you, Pammy.
But the
Hey,
more
my
I
love
thought
of
about
crafts.
it seemed like it would be a good thing to do while my legs were healing, so I accepted.
Describe to the jury, when did you play the inaugural concert on the piano on that period?
I believe it was in June of 2019.
Were you to be paid for the performance?
Yes, I was.
Describe to the jury what the arrangement for the payment would be.
It was a flat fee honorarium for the.
We'll go
coding
ahead a little
ban,
bit.
which was making public gatherings impossible at the time.
When I thought I heard him talking about one of his siblings.
So she was pretty young. I had taught a lot of kids before, so I had experience with kids that age and their attention spans, which tend to be very short.
You start performing in downtown Greenville.
Here we go.
It would have been sometime in the
Now, this is where he met. All right, y'all. This is where he met the daughter. There we go. Good morning. Hey, Warrior Grandma. Good to see you. So good to see you.
summer of 2020.
I think.
Where were some of your most frequent locations where you perform music in downtown Greenville?
Probably the most frequent was right in front of Spill the Beans at the entrance to Falls Park, where the fountain is.
I want to talk about an evening in August of 2020 while you were performing outside Spill the Beans. While you were performing, did anyone make contact with you and introduce himself to you?
Yes.
Who was that?
That was John Mello.
Okay, there we go, y'all.
Was John Mello by himself or was anyone with him?
He was with his daughter, Aida Mello.
How old, best you can recall, how old was Aida at the time?
She was 8.
Tell this jury about the interaction you had with John Mello.
Okay, Holden, thank you for being here. I appreciate it so much.
I didn't know who he was, but he came up and said he was a musician and asked if I'd be willing to take a request. He said his daughter's favorite piece was Claire de Lune, and I know that piece really well. It's a favorite piece of mine, so I played it for her.
What, if anything, did you observe about Aida while you were playing Claire de Lune?
Like I said, she was 8, so she was
out her
pretty
name.
young. I had taught a lot of kids before, so I had experience with kids that age and their attention spans, which tend to be very short. So I was really impressed. I could see her out of the corner of my eye, and she was just enraptured from start to finish. Like she wasn't running around. She wasn't on a device. She was just completely caught up in the music, and that made a big impression on me.
After you played John Mello's request, before he left, what, if anything, did he give you?
He gave me a business card.
Did you use it to make contact with him after that first meeting?
Yes, I sent him an email.
Why did you follow up
At Tennessee Road.
communicate with John Mello after that first meeting?
I got the impression from a few things he said and from the card that he was in the rock and roll world, which that's something I had never had much contact with as a classical musician. And he seemed like a great conversationalist. He was charismatic and outgoing, and I thought it'd be interesting to get coffee with him at some point.
Did you meet with John again after that night in August of 2020?
Yes, I did.
I want to talk about the period between the time you met John and Aida Mello in August of 2020 until the beginning of October of 2020. During that period of time, how many times did you physically meet with John Mello?
Maybe 6 or 7 times.
When you met with him, was he by himself or was with Aida with him?
With one exception, Aida was always with him.
Tell the jury what the activities you and
I think, remember, John Mello, he had primary custody at that time.
John and Aida would do together in that period.
We'd get coffee a few times. I saw them and Aida spontaneously because I was performing and they walked out like the first time. We got pizza once. We went to an art gallery, things like that.
tell the jury what your impressions were of Aida as you got to know her in the late summer, early fall of 2020.
They were extremely positive. She's a really special kid. She was definitely mature beyond her years, like I talked about. She could hold a conversation with adults. She looked you in the eye. She seemed really cultured, like she'd had a lot of exposure to different places. She'd traveled like almost as much as I had. She was always telling me about trips she and her dad had taken, and it was just very evident to me that she was a very healthy, loved child. She clearly loved her dad, and it was obvious that he had done a great job raising her. And I was convinced that she was a happy, healthy kid, and he was a great father.
Let's fast forward to beginning of October of 2020. When is your birthday?
October 2nd.
On your birthday, October the 2nd, 2020, how did you celebrate your birthday?
At this point, Aida had visitation with her mother, Christina Parcell. So this was the one time I saw John where she wasn't with him. And John wanted to show me some of his favorite taco stands out on Whitehorse Road. So we celebrated my birthday together and went to a couple bars, had dinner, ended up getting tacos at the end of the night.
At the beginning of the night, what was John's mood?
Very festive.
By the end of the night, had his mood changed?
Yes, it had.
Describe what his mood was at the end of the night.
Towards the end, at one of these taco stands, he became very pensive and even distraught. And he started to tell me about
That's all right, Warrior
some real
Grandma, huh?
grave concerns he had
How old
about
was
his
he?
daughter,
Was she
specifically
8?
when his daughter
The mom
was
that
with her
got
mother,
killed, I don't know.
Christina Parcell. And he essentially said that whenever Aida's mother had visitation, he just never could rest easy until he got Aida back. And that he just didn't trust her, and he thought that she wasn't responsible and that she might even hurt her at some point. And I mean, frankly, it kind of, I mean, the mood of the evening took a big dip because of this. It was
We know
clear
he
that
was
he
right.
just was terrified about the danger his daughter was in, and this made a big impression on me.
So when you were with John on your birthday of October 2nd, 2020, where were Aida and Christina Parcell?
I believe they were on a road trip to see family, maybe in Alabama or somewhere farther down south.
When was she due back to Greenville?
I believe the next day or in the next couple of days.
When she returned, where were Aida and John going to go?
They were going to go to Italy.
Did John tell you that?
Yes.
When John told you that he and Aida were going to go to Italy, what did you think about that? What was your reaction to that?
I thought it was great. I knew at this point that John's parents were Italian, and Aida, I thought, stood to gain a great cultural experience from it. And I just thought if I had had the opportunity to travel and live in Italy when I was 8, I would have jumped at that. So I was really excited for both of them.
Did they go to Italy?
Yes.
Not legally,
So
remember
in
that.
October, John and Aida Mello go to Italy. Tell this jury what you're doing in October, November of 2020, musically and otherwise.
At this point, musically, I was still performing on the streets of Greenville, and I was also talking with someone who curated a Museum of Historic Instruments downtown, the Sigel Music Museum. This man was Tom Strange, and we were discussing the possibility of revamping the Beethoven project I had been planning to do that got cut short by COVID by essentially doing the concert series again throughout 2021, but this time recording them so that we wouldn't have to deal with the issue of gatherings with COVID going on.
And did you and Tom Strange solidify a plan for resurrecting the Beethoven project?
Yes, we did.
Just generally speaking, describe for the jury sort of the intensity of the schedule, the intensity of the lead up to that project.
Yeah, so as a classical musician, at least, just because you've played a piece doesn't mean that like you know it forever and you're never going to forget it and it's never going to cost you any more work. It would be like you may have run a marathon once before in your life, but if you haven't trained for a year, it's not going to be easy for you if you go and try to do it again. So I was going to have to relearn all of this repertoire because I had only been playing certain of the sonatas downtown. And with the recording schedule, I was going to be meeting with him. There was going to be other people and other equipment involved. So essentially, I was going to have to commit to a schedule where we'd meet more or less once a week to record one sonata a week throughout 2021 and stick to that schedule. So it was going to be strenuous and a lot of work, and I knew this going into it.
And when was the first recording set to occur on the project with Tom Strange?
I think around January 2021.
Hey, you, Deb.
Beginning in January,
It
how
is.
many performances on the project? What was the time frame on the remaining performances on the project?
Again, it was roughly one a week. These sonatas are not all the same length. Some are short as like 12 minutes. Others, one lasts about 45 minutes. So depending on the piece, we were allocating enough time for me to get ready.
All right, so let's talk about from, again, October to April of 2020. John and Aida leave in October. Between October and April, describe to the jury what the communications were you were having with John Mello, the frequency of the communications. Just tell them about it.
Like I said, I was excited for them. I was excited for Aida to be able to have this experience. Based on what John had told me about Aida's mother, I thought it was good that there was distance in between them. And
Come on.
our communications had died off a bit after they left. John is interesting. He's also a lot. He's a very dramatic person. And it was a bit of a relief to just not be running into him downtown all the time because I had a lot of practice I was doing and sometimes I didn't have time to hang out as much as he might have wanted to. So our communications petered out.
Okay, Warrior Grandma.
Relieved in some ways that your communications with
It's a
him
dud.
had slowed down or stopped?
To a degree, yeah.
I kind of want to speed this up, but I just don't even know
In April
if it would.
of 2021, did your communications with John and the frequency of them increase dramatically?
Yes.
Why did your communications with John increase dramatically in April of 2021?
Like I said, our communications had petered out, but they hadn't completely ceased. So he had let me know that Christina Parcell, Aida's mother, had been filing, I think, some stuff with the family court in Greenville in order to try to get her daughter back. He was very worried that she might succeed in doing this for reasons I've already spoken about. And in April, he sent me a message, and it was clear from the text that he was very upset, just saying that, Zach, they took Aida. What am I going to do? Something about along those lines.
After he told you in April of 2021 that they had taken Aida, did he begin to tell you in greater detail what his concerns were and more information about his concerns?
Yes.
What happened next?
At this point, I found myself in kind of a conundrum because, like I said, I had appreciated having some distance from John. But by the same token, I was becoming increasingly more concerned about his daughter, Aida. So while I might have wanted to not continue communicating with John for the sake of his daughter, I felt that I had a certain sense of responsibility to help him with what he was dealing with this custody battle for his daughter's sake. We began communicating probably every day, at least by text, often by phone calls. I was giving a lot of time towards hearing what he had to say, towards trying to help him in any way I could. Some of the things I did to help him were, first, he needed counsel. He needed a lawyer in family court. So I was calling a bunch of lawyers in Greenville, trying to find someone who could help him, and by helping him, help Aida. I ended up cleaning his house in Greenville. He had left it with a tenant who absolutely trashed it. It was like nothing I'd ever seen. Like the air was hardly breathable. So I was buying a dehumidifier, getting cleaning supplies,
All
hiring
right, let's get to the.
Mikey Manigo, who testified last week, to help me clean out his house.
There's a big part of me that wants to skip over, but I'm afraid that we'll miss something important if we do.
So that he would have a place to show family court, and, that he had a home that would be a safe place for a little girl and him to be living in. I told him when he came back, I'd pick him up from the airport. But notably, while we were having these conversations, he began to tell me in much more detail what his concerns were about Christina Parcell. And, well, in order for you to understand what my reaction was to what he was telling me, you need to know what my experience was with my oldest adopted sibling, Grace. So when we adopted these kids, we really didn't know much about them.
Objection, Your Honor, may we approach? Sure.
Uh-oh. Wait, we can bump. Hold on.
The jury back to their wonderful.
I think they're still not going to let us. Yep. All right, hold on.
I don't say this lightly, but my oldest
Okay.
sister, Grace, was the most evil human being I've ever met in my life. She was 10 when she came into our family. The Russian government didn't tell us much about the kids, so we weren't aware of any, if any,
Oh, this is his adopted sister here. Okay.
behavioral issues there may have been. And there were many, but specifically with her. I would describe her without reservation as an affectionless psychopath. It wasn't that she was immoral, it was more that she was amoral. She didn't have a sense of right and wrong. Her emotional compass was seemingly non-existent. She was just dead inside. She was a masterful manipulator and deceiver. She could lie at the drop of the hat for reasons that might involve her personal gain or just for the heck of it. She would invent the most absurd, crazy, gruesome stories just to get a
I
reaction
think I
out of
believe
people.
it.
And she could talk about this stuff with the same tone that you might talk about making a sandwich. And this from a girl that I knew between the ages of 10 to 14. It was incredibly disturbing. And the things I learned about that type of personality have stayed with me my entire life, because I've never met someone like this since. And with one exception, I had never even heard someone describe another human being like this. And one of the things that is so dangerous about someone like this is, she was literally like a vampire who would just suck the goodness out of other people around her. She could be very emotional, and she would fake these emotions in order to elicit a response in you, a sympathetic response. And if, for instance, you were accusing her of doing something like stealing or hurting one of her siblings, she would weep and just beg you to believe her and say, no, I didn't do it. And then if you would present her with irrefutable proof that we knew you had indeed done this, it was like a mask would just fall off her face. And I mean, she'd just look at you with shark eyes. And no matter how many times we would go through this cycle with her, where she would deceive us
So I'm going to assume they're going to compare his sister to Christina.
and betray our trust and hurt people in our family, she would always reel us back in, because there's something in normal, good people that wants to believe that someone like this can change. You want to believe that, there's redemption for someone like this, and that they might change their ways and become a better person. And she knew that. And she would use that in order to ingratiate herself again and regain our trust, only to betray that big trust again harder than she had the first time. And this happened dozens of times, and it created an incredible amount of strife in our home. She could manipulate my parents and drive a wedge between them. She was just an incredibly intelligent person and incredibly evil. And having met someone like that, it made me able to understand, and even though I didn't want to, accept the fact that people like this exist, whether you want to believe it or not. And if you trust them, you are only ever going to get hurt by them again.
Okay, Holden.
You have to forgive them at some point. And that was a very difficult thing for me to do. It took me years, but eventually I had to accept an apology from this girl that I never got and was never going to get. And I had to do it for myself. But I would never trust her again. That would be insane, for my own safety or for the safety of others. So this is an experience which I think is somewhat unique. I think most people have not met someone like this. And I mean, we might watch true crime documentaries or things like this, and we know that technically these people are real, but they exist on Netflix or in someone else's lives, and we never once believe that it could be someone we know, or that it could be someone living next door, or that it could be someone that our children play with, or someone we might allow to look after our kids. So knowing this is essential to understanding my reaction to what John began to tell me about Christina Parcell in April and May of 2021, after Aida had been taken back to Greenville. He started describing Christina Parcell's character and her personality. And as he was going through various points, he kept saying, Zach, I know you're not going to believe me. Like, I know this sounds overblown and dramatic, and you probably think I'm exaggerating. And under other circumstances, I would have, because John does, I mean, he's a big storyteller. And, when people are talking about their exes, like, everyone thinks their ex is the Antichrist. So, of course, I was sort of predisposed to be biased against what he was telling me. except for the fact that point by point, everything he described about Christina Parcell was exactly the same as my sister Grace. He told me that Christina Parcell was a master manipulator. He said she can lie at the drop of the hat and you'll never know it. He said she was incredibly charming. He
Yeah, I
said
noticed that. Hold in.
she was incredibly intelligent and talented. He used to say she was smarter than he was, but that her biggest fault was that she was lazy. And she had this arrogance combined with her laziness that was essentially born out of the fact that she knew she never really had to work too hard at anything in life. And she could even sacrifice trust with people and tell them lies that could easily be found out because ultimately she was completely confident in her ability to reel someone back in, no matter how bad she had burned them before. And he could have been describing Grace to me because I knew this behavior. I had lived through this behavior. So at this point,
I'm sorry, when he was describing these features to you of Christina, had you ever told him about Grace? Did he know anything about Grace?
no, I don't make a habit of talking about Grace to people. One, it's incredibly difficult to speak about. And two, most people having not met someone like that, it just doesn't really land most of the time. They don't understand what you're talking about. So no, John had no idea that I'd had this experience with Grace, which made me realize that there was no way he could have possibly invented this because no one would get it right point by point by point unless they had met one of these people. And that was the first thing that really raised a huge red flag with me and made me think that despite the fact that he can exaggerate and overblow the truth, and he's often not very believable when you listen to him, I was convinced
That's not
at
going to
that
make him
point
look
that he
good.
must be describing something true because no one would know how to describe it so specifically and
Don't y'all think that him saying that this guy, exaggerates the truth is not going to be helpful, though?
accurately if they were just making it up? And I was right to believe him. So in addition to this description of her character, and one last thing about Grace and Christina by correlation, one thing Grace was she had an addiction to doing was not merely stealing from you or sucker punching one of her siblings just to assert dominance or doing other terrible things to her siblings.
Hey,
She would
Donna.
recruit her other younger siblings to do these things for her. She would get off on making little duplicates of herself and training and enlisting
Sister
her
Shamat.
siblings to act as proxies for her so that she wouldn't actually get in trouble because she knew that we all had our eyes on her because of her behavior and we knew we couldn't trust her. So if she even had 2 minutes with one of her younger siblings where no one was within earshot, she would tell them, hey, mom's going to go check the mail. I just saw the mail truck go. When she's doing that, I want you to go run into her bedroom and go into her jewelry or go and get this for me and we'll split it. Go and get that food that mom said we can't have till the weekend or something. So she was an incredibly corrupting influence on anyone around her that she could exert her influence on. Again, I called her a vampire who sucks the goodness out of others. This is an incredibly appropriate metaphor because that's what vampires do. They're intelligent, they're dead inside, and they eventually kill the people around them unless they find someone who might be useful to them, and then they create a duplicate of themselves that they can control. And this is exactly what Grace would do. So when John was telling me all this, I realized that there was an incredible danger that what Christina Parcell was a future preview of what Aida Mello could potentially become if she was left in this woman's custody and was raised by her. And the facts have borne out that I was right. But
Objection, Your Honor. staying.
Um,
We'll instruct the jury to disregard the last comment.
Zach, at some point was Grace actually removed from your family?
Yes.
Describe for this jury why or the circumstance or the event that prompted her removal from your family.
It had been 4 years of what I've been describing. She had been sent to different girls' homes around the country, many of which had records of never expelling a single student.
Okay, if he describes that his sister was doing some kind of, you know what, abuse, then the jury's going to get it.
And she was the first for many of them that they expelled and sent back to us. And it finally just got so bad that we realized she was going to be a physical danger to our family. I discovered a diary that she had made where she described in detail my parents having their eyes gouged out and dying, and how once my parents were out of the way and dead, she would be able to assume her role as rightful queen of the country. So she just had these psychotic, psychopathic delusions of violence and grandeur. And we called DSS and asked them to remove her from the home.
We're going to come back to that in a second, or in a little while. You testified about things that John told you about Christina. Did he also provide you with other information about Christina that informed your opinion of her or what you came to know about her?
Yes.
What were some of the documents or other pieces of information that John provided you?
No objection to hearsay.
No, we're not offering it for its truth. We're offering it to show what he knew. It's State versus Vic. I've cited, Your Honor, we are not offering it for its truth.
Go ahead.
He offered me, among other things, three very pertinent collections of information. One was the photographs that have been discussed that I sent in mailings to various people, along with advertisements from an escort website, which were connected with these photographs. These photographs were of Christina Parcell in various stages of undress. And John told me that they were prostitution advertisements from her previous career as a prostitute. And looking at these photographs, there was no doubt in my mind that that's what these were. And I don't say this in any way to try to shame. It's simply that, I mean, who said it? Like pornography, you know it when you see it. Well, I think the same can be said in terms of these photographs. They were not cute, sexy, intimate photographs that someone might send to someone they're dating or something. They were lewd and tasteless, and there was a very clear element of advertising, a commercial element. So when I looked at these, there was a vacant, arrogant, almost derisive look in her eyes that reminded me so much of my sister. It was a look that said, I can get you to do whatever I want because you want what I have to offer you. And coupled with this was a deposition from 2016 that Christina Parcell had given.
1 second. Zach. Let me show you, Zach, what's been marked as Defense Exhibit 46. Take a look at this.
Yes, this is the deposition.
All right. This time the defense would move Defense Exhibit 46 into evidence.
State objects.
Not hearsay.
Hold on, y'all. We'll bump forward. Yeah, I'm fast forwarding through it. Her dominate over men. Looks pays big money. No, and the jury's not gonna understand what he's trying to say, that the child was involved, or that she was involved in the child.
What did you come to conclude or believe?
There we go.
I believed that based on various things she freely admitted to in her deposition, that she had a history of using and manipulating men in order to get money and in offering sexual services in return. She admitted to being a pornographic actress and producing a film
Hey, Carrie.
in South Carolina where she rubbed her feet on a man's penis. She admitted to using sugardaddyforme.com, where she sought out romantic relationships with older men with a clear emphasis on it being a trade, essentially a reciprocal thing, where she was seeking out to be taken care of financially. She said that she had a general disinterest in having children at the time, which is why that she gave up custody of her daughter to John Mello when her daughter was very young. Her lawyer took
Objection, Your Honor. I'm going to sustain the objection.
Okay.
You can ask him, like we said, as far as just the effect it had on him,
Understand.
not the specific details.
Understand.
Move on.
Zach, a little while ago, I asked you about documents that John gave you in addition to details he provided you, information. We talked about the deposition. Let me show you Defense Exhibit 56.
All right, love you, Warrior Grandma.
Let me show you Defense Exhibit 56. Is that also a document that John Mello gave you?
Yes,
Did you read it?
I did.
Or at this time, the defense removed Defense Exhibit 56 in the evidence?
State objects based on the same objection we had in the prior, the prior issue. I think Your Honor's ruling was that he can talk about how it had an effect on him, but not to go into the details.
Your Honor, this is a separate exhibit. It's different than the deposition. It's just a few pages. I'd be happy to argue on this.
I'm going to allow this to come in.
Okay.
Thank you
Welcome
very much,
back, Carrie.
This is,
I don't know that this is going to get through to the jury. I don't know.
again, I renew.
Holden, what do you
motion to
think?
enter Defense Exhibit 56 in the evidence. And it's admitted. Is that correct, Your Honor? Zach, take a look at Defense Exhibit 56. Would you, for the jury, let me look at it. Zach, this is an affidavit of a man named Alex Fields, is that correct?
Yes.
And I just want to go over this affidavit for you, or with you. Based on your understanding of this affidavit and your communication with John Mello, how did John become aware of this information that led to this affidavit?
John posted an ad on Craigslist asking for information about a woman named Christina Lorraine Parcell, aka Caroline Warren, and he provided photographs to identify her by.
Not gonna help.
Two of the affidavit, this advertisement on Craigslist.
Yes.
Okay, let's go to page 1 of the affidavit. Would you please read the second paragraph of this affidavit?
I was at Hall's Chop House in downtown Greenville, South Carolina, when a woman approached me. She said hello and proceeded to ask if I was looking for a date. She said something to the effect of inviting me to bed for an amount of money and that we would not be rushed at all. When I refused her proposition, she proceeded to offer me narcotics. I refused and ended the encounter at that point.
Would you please read just the first sentence of the third paragraph?
There is absolutely no doubt in my mind that this woman is the woman that I saw on Craigslist.
And that, again, the woman in this advertisement on Craigslist, who's that woman?
Christina Parcell.
Zach, I want to talk about other information John Mello had provided you. You heard testimony.
Well, not really,
From
Pammy. It seems like victim blaming because they're not allowed to tell that they were involved in this woman that he killed and her boyfriend were involved in CP. And the daughter, the little girl, they did things, but he's not allowed to tell that because the boyfriend's in jail and the woman, has passed away now. So it's kind of victim. It would sound that way. Thank you. There you go. Holden.
investigator Dan Bell. Do you remember that testimony?
I do.
And do you recall in the state's case in chief, Dan Bevel, both in direct examination and cross-examination, testifying that he had met Christina Parcell in his official capacity before he began his investigation of the letters?
Well, he's not going to get by with it, Pammy.
I remember.
But yeah, that's exactly what it is. Vigilante justice.
And isn't it true that John Mello shared information with you about interactions he had had with Dan Bell?
Objection.
Objection.
Your
Hang
Honor,
on a
I need a
stone.
curative instruction on that.
Yeah, I totally disagree, and I'm happy to argue.
Nope. I think he sent the jury out. Man.
Thank you for your patience. I just had to pick up some legal issues with the attorneys. Y'all are gonna get your
Yeah.
steps in today. Please proceed.
They're gonna let us hear? I think so.
So, Zach, you testified
Oh, they're coming back in. Okay.
about
Okay.
information that John has provided you related to concerns he had about Christina Parcell, especially in conjunction with Aida Mello. We talked about the time period April. I want to move to May. In May of 2021, were you and John Mello continuing to communicate about the situation?
Yes.
In May of 2021, what, if anything, did John ask you to do for him?
Given the extremely grave nature of John's concerns for his daughter, especially while she was in the custody of her mother, Christina Parcell, and potentially being exposed to her mother's boyfriend, Brad Post, who John believed was a pedophile and is a pedophile.
Objection.
Oh. Oh.
Saying, I instruct you to totally disregard the last comments made by this defendant.
And Zach, could you just tell this jury what John asked you to do?
Yes. Given his concerns, John asked me
Oh.
that if I believed his daughter was in grave danger, would I be willing to kill Christina Parcell for $5,000?
Oh, shit.
What did you say when he asked you that?
I was shocked and insulted by the request, and I gave him an immediate and unequivocal no.
So
He offered him money.
he offered you
Oh, no.
$5,000 if you would kill Christina Parcell, and you said no.
That's correct.
I wasn't expecting
At some
that.
point, did he revisit that subject?
Yes.
He said it. Yep.
Did he make you another offer?
Yes, he did.
How long after the first offer did he make the second offer?
I'm not certain, but I would say maybe 2 or 3 weeks later.
Tell this jury about that.
He was becoming increasingly more worried and distressed about the safety of his daughter. I was as well. The more I learned about this situation and everything, and a lot more than what I've told you, I was also.
Oh.
What was the second offer?
Hint, hint.
The second offer, he asked me again, if I became convinced that his daughter was in danger, would I be willing to kill Christina Parcell for $10,000?
What did you, or how did you respond to that offer?
I told him, John, there's no amount of money that would ever tempt me to do something like this. And I told him I was insulted that he even thought that would be something I would consider. So I told him I would never do something like this for money. I told him the only way I would ever consider taking action like this is if I was absolutely convinced that his daughter was not only in danger, but that the only way to rescue her from that danger would be to take Christina Parcell's life.
Uh-oh.
Let's talk about what else is going on in your life in May of 2021. Tell this jury what you're doing with the music project with Tom Strange. With Tom Strange, how that's going.
We've been at
Right,
the
Hazel.
project recording the sonatas in the museum, like I talked about, for about 5 months. This, of course, I was doing
I'm pretty sure it's illegal to offer money, so he probably just got John in trouble, but it's okay. It's what it is.
in conjunction with all the help I was trying to provide John and Aida. So the music project on its own would have been incredibly stressful. And with everything else, I was just approaching burnout. Honestly, I was having a really hard time meeting my deadlines. And I was worried that the quality of the work I was doing was going to be going down. And I was just at the point where I needed a vacation, honestly.
And we're going to get to that in just a second. Tell the jury about your compensation as it relates to the music project with Tom Strange.
It was just an arrangement of a flat fee for all 32 sonatas. I was going to receive $5,000.
And if you broke that down on an hourly basis, how much were you getting paid per hour for that project?
Probably less than $1, but it was a labor of love.
During this time, were you also doing other things to try to make money to support yourself, or was it?
Yes, I was giving some
Hey, Debbie.
outdoor concerts on the Wynn's lawn, and these were donation-based, so people were supporting me financially in that regard.
You talked about needing a vacation at the end of
Love and miss you
May.
too.
Describe a little bit more to the jury the fatigue and why you believed at the end of May that a break would do you some good.
Well, I needed a break. My nature is usually to just try to push through stuff like that. I can push myself too far. So I was not necessarily seeking out a break or a vacation, but I was definitely at the point where I needed one for the sake of my work, for the sake of my health.
Did you get that break?
Yes, I did.
Describe for the jury how that came about.
Like I said, John and I were communicating pretty much every day at this point. Much of it, if not most of it, about Aida. But I was also mentioning to him what I was doing, certainly times when he needed me to do something and I would have to say, I can't, I'm practicing, I'm recording something like this. So he told me, I think he said, like in the rock and roll business, we say you have a monkey on your back, like the project is starting to own you and you just need to step away from it. You're too close to it and you've been in it for too long. So he suggested that I come and visit him in Italy.
Did you take him up on that suggestion?
Yes, I did.
Initially, what was your reaction to that offer?
Initially, I didn't want to. Like I said, it's my nature to just kind of push through things, but with some more time, I realized that some time off from the piano would probably do me good.
So when did you go to Italy to visit John?
I think in either the very last days of May or first days of June, 2021.
Who paid for your travel?
I did.
When you arrived in Italy, where did you stay?
I stayed at John Mell's apartment.
How long were you there?
Between 3 and 4 weeks.
Do you remember where in Italy you were?
Yes, it was a town called Rovigo. It's not too far from Venice.
When you were visiting in Italy, where was Aida Mello?
She was in Greenville with her mother.
Even though Aida was not in Italy, while you were in Italy, did you have an opportunity to see Aida?
Yes, I did.
Describe for the jury what that opportunity was.
John had video visits ordered by the guardian ad litem, who you've seen before, Vanessa Cornlow, to have video visits twice a week with Aida. So he, even with the time difference, was always setting timers and alarms and making me set timers and alarms to make sure he wouldn't be late for these visits. Like he lived for these visits every week.
It's all right, Heather. We're
So
here
often
for
it
it.
might be 11 p.m. or midnight in Italy, but that was when Aida was free. So that's when
We
they
haven't
got to
got to the
visit.
good part
And
yet.
I would often be within earshot to where I could hear their conversation. Often I would be able to observe the screen of his phone or computer so I could see Aida's face, her disposition. And on one occasion, I said hi to her.
What did you notice about her, or what did you conclude about her while you were watching Aida during these visitations?
So John had been telling me for weeks, Zach, Christina is killing my little girl. Like I can see the spark dying in her eyes. And again, when I first heard that, I thought, aren't you being a little dramatic? Like I hadn't seen her, but it just seemed a bit much. When I saw her in these visits, I didn't feel that way anymore. She was not the same little girl that I had known in Greenville when I first met them. She had put on a great deal of weight, probably about 20 pounds, which is roughly a quarter of her body weight. For an 8-year-old girl, that's a lot in a short period of time, but it was much more than that. It was her demeanor. Her spirit was just, she was morose, she was depressed. Like that spunky, precocious, lively little girl that I had met was just not present there. It was a complete change in character. And I mean, John would ask her how she was doing, and she would always try to give a good response. Like she would try to smile and say, "Oh, I'm fine, Daddy," and try to put on a good face. But it was clear that she was doing that because she didn't want to worry her dad. She didn't want him to realize how poorly she was doing. And it just reminded me so much of myself when I was a little older than she was, with what I've previously described with Grace. It's this, you internalize things. Like she's a strong person. And she was trying to be stronger than she was probably ready to be at that age. And despite the stoic, strong exterior she was trying to put on, I could just see that she was being tortured. Like she was drowning. And him saying that the spark was dying in her eyes was absolutely accurate. I could see it, I could hear it in her voice, I could tell it in her demeanor.
So
Ma'am,
when you came,
if you're a jury, what do you do with that? Oh man.
let me back up. When did you leave Italy to return to Greenville County?
At the end of June 2021.
When you returned to Greenville in June of 2021, based on everything that you knew and had been made aware of, and I want to start in June. What, if anything, in June of 2021 did you do to act on what you knew?
Agree, Debbie.
I had described the mailers that I had put together before, and the state has talked about them a lot. All of these mailers contained information that I believe had been put out publicly and by Christina Parcell's free will. So this was all information that had been available publicly and that, to the best of my knowledge, was true. And I began to send these mailers to Christina Parcell and her boyfriend and people in the neighborhood for a threefold purpose. I wanted parents around that neighborhood to know that their children were not safe around her or around Brad Post. I wanted different people associated with this, such as the guardian ad litem, the police, to have access to this information so that they would have all the evidence that I was looking at that clearly demonstrated that Christina Parcell was a danger to children and her own daughter.
Oh, there it
And
is.
I also wanted there to be social pressure on Christina Parcell, because something, again, about people like Grace and Christina Parcell is the facade that they erect around themselves and the image that they put forward to the world is so important to them. They're narcissists. And it is a facade. It's completely untrue. But I was hoping that it wouldn't be worth it to her for other people to see her for what she was in exchange for her trying to fight to have her daughter.
You sent multiple mailers beginning in June and going into July of 2021. Is that correct?
Yes, I did.
Did those mailers and the effect those mailers had do anything to alleviate your concerns?
No, they didn't. If anything, Christina Parcell and Brad Post just dug their heels in deeper.
After the mailers were sent, do you know whether or not they had any effect on? Back up. I want to talk about after the mailers were sent. Did you learn of a video call or about a video call that John, who was in Italy, had with Aida, who was in Greenville?
Yes.
What did you learn about that video call?
Shortly after these mailers would have arrived, John described a call to me where he said Christina was, at the end of the call, she took the phone and turned it towards her face, which she usually did not do. And he said she was more angry than I've ever seen her. And he would often talk about how you would never see her angry. Like, she was very good at controlling her emotions and not showing if you had made her angry. And she took the phone and didn't say anything, but just slid her finger across her throat as if that she was threatening that she was going to have him killed for what she believed he was doing.
After the mailer, or the last mailer, did John share with you any information he had received via email?
Yes, he well, he didn't describe it. He sent it to me, an email he had received from someone he knew in the biker community, motorcycles. And Brad Post was also involved in the biker community, or at least tried to be. And this email was from this acquaintance of John, telling John that Brad Post had been going around essentially asking for someone to, quote, put the hurt on John Mello, and that he was offering a lot of money to make this happen.
Yep. Can't let that in. There we go.
Let's do your side.
Zach, we talked about the fact that you testified that you sent the mailers, you've explained why. I want to talk about something else you did for the purpose of acting on a concern. Take a look at what's been marked as Defense Exhibit 47. Is that an affidavit that you completed for the purpose or in connection with the pending family court litigation between John Mello and Christina Parcell?
Yes, it is.
Your Honor, this is defense counsel version. This is already in evidence. The state put that in. Zach, let's talk about this affidavit.
Is that the one from September?
Yes, Your Honor. Yes. Zach, why did you draft this affidavit?
I was extremely concerned about the danger that Aida was in, and I wanted to try to provide the family court with information about my opinion and my observations about her that would hopefully cause them to return Aida to John so that she would no longer be in danger.
Did this affidavit, well, let me back up. To whom did you send this affidavit?
I had it notarized, and then I think I scanned it and probably emailed it to John or left it with his family court attorney, Samantha Larkins, at the time.
One second. Let's move on. So that affidavit was, I believe, September the 21st of 2021. Is that correct?
I don't remember the date other than it being in September.
I'll show it to you.
Yes, the 21st day of September, 2021.
And you testified that after you submitted that affidavit, that did not do anything to alleviate your concerns. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Did you take another step to try to act on your concerns for Aida?
Yes.
And did you take that step at the end of September or beginning of October?
Yes, I made a phone call to Child Protective Services, and I told them that I was a neighbor. So I told them that I had seen Aida being verbally and physically abused by her mother. And again, I made that up. That's not true. but I said it because I wanted to give Aida an opportunity
Oh
to
boy.
have FaceTime in person with an agent from DSS away from her mother, where she could tell them that her mother was sexually abusing her.
Oh, he said it.
Sustained.
He said it. Uh-oh.
Or to disregard the last comments from this witness.
Zach, let me ask this.
Oh, y'all.
You talked about Child Protective Services. Is that in South Carolina, is that called DSS?
I think they may be part of the same entity. I'm not sure.
And so did they do anything to alleviate your concerns?
No.
Did that surprise you at all?
No.
In fact, you testified earlier about
Neither, Stadius.
Virginia and Grace. Did you and your family have interaction with the DSS in Virginia
Yes, we did.
over Grace?
Yes, when I discovered the journal I had mentioned before about Grace's plans to murder my family, we called DSS and asked for her to be taken out of the home. And they did this. And after a few weeks of hearing Grace's stories and lies, they took her side. They failed to recognize what they were dealing with her. And they tried to have my parents put in jail and the rest of me and my siblings put in foster care. And we eventually had to sue them. And it was about a 2-year-long court battle. And that left an indelible impression on me, just as to how even experts can be wrong sometimes. And when they are wrong, it's so dangerous because everyone believes them because they're the experts. But sometimes you know what you know, and you know it's true. And even if an expert might think differently, it doesn't mean they're right. And DSS did a lot of damage to my family in those 2 years.
So ultimately, Grace was removed from your family. Is that correct?
Yes.
Your other Russian siblings were not, were they?
No.
And in fact, Faith, one of your Russian siblings, has been in the courtroom all week. Is that correct?
Yes.
So you testified to this jury about the information you received from John Mello about his concerns. You've testified to the jury about the documents you consulted about those
Hey,
concerns.
KB Bells.
You testified to the jury what you came
Thank
to
you for coming
believe.
by.
You testified to the jury about the mailers you sent, about the affidavit you submitted, and now about the call to DSS. After you had done all these things to act on your concerns,
South Carolina.
and nothing had been done, tell this jury in early October of 2021, what's going on in your mind? What are you thinking?
I was still in the middle of this music project, so I had a lot on my plate there just professionally, and of course I was continuing and even increasing my support to help John save his daughter, Aida. And since June, when I had returned, I had been absolutely convinced that Christina Parcell was sexually abusing her daughter.
Let's go. I mean,
Take the jury.
Oh, shit. He's going to get in trouble. Let's see. Does he get back up there? Uh-oh. Are they still not back from him saying that? Nope. Life court is on a lunch break. We'll return at 2:30. So, let's see. 2:30. What time is it? Well, this was defense plan all along because you can't unhear that. Oh, definitely. Yep. They're on lunch. I can't believe I can. I knew, I had a feeling that he would get some words in, but I don't know what they'll do. They could mistrial this. I don't know. But isn't he I don't know. Is he I don't know that he's allowed to say that. I don't know. Oh, 23 minutes. Wonder if there's any let's see, interviews or anything going on about it. Let's see. Let's look around a little. No, not yet. Haven't prosecuted the boyfriend yet because they don't want him to be able to use the. Oh, probably. Holden. Probably. Yeah, and he wanted to. He wanted to tell them why. He was, wanted to admit to it yesterday. So, yeah. Yes. I bet you're right. But they did have him come in. The jury knows he's in jail. So, I mean, there's so many clues there that I don't see. Yeah, Shamat. Damn is right. Woo, that's a good one. Uh, Anybody watch the Gabby Petito thing on Netflix yet? I watched most of it. I dozed off on the second episode, I think. Gotta rewatch it. Anybody watch it? It's pretty good, Carrie. No, they can't disregard saying that. Absolutely not. I mean, hearing that. Right. You watched it, Paisley? It's pretty good, huh? No, me either. It was sad. I came across somebody streaming yesterday morning saying that she was abusive to Brian. I think they fought each other. I think it was toxic, but I don't think she was abusive. You're still watching Nip Tuck? You're making me want to watch it. Let me see where I can watch it. I'm gonna look it up since I'm in my living room today. I remember when the guy that started that, he was on Charmed and he left Charmed for that show. I was so upset. Are you watching it on Hulu? It's on Hulu and Disney. 'Cause I know you said it was about to go off wherever you're watching it. It's on Plex. You're watching it on Prime? Okay, so it's also on Hulu and Disney, if you have Hulu and Disney. I watched something on Hulu that was good the other day. Let me look, see if I can what? What was it? Why not look it up since we're just sitting here waiting? Oh, it took me straight to Nip Tuck. Hold on. Shoot, I don't know. I don't remember what it was. Well, that's what it's like getting old. Candace on Netflix was really good. No, but it sounds really good, Carrie. I wanna see it. Landman, we've watched it. I love Billy Bob Thornton. You know you can't find Sling Blade anywhere? Speaking of oh, that's what it was, Scamanda. Let me see if they've got a new episode out. They do. I hate that they're putting it out, episode by episode, but, it's this woman that scammed a bunch of people saying she had cancer. Oh, there's something on here called The Social Media Murders. That sounds good. Yes, please. KB Bells, that would tickle me to death, yes. How do I get that? I've tried and tried. They won't show it. Hey, Amy Jane. There's so many people who do that. Why? That's why. It's just not. What are you talking? What? Do what? Let me look up. I missed something because I was looking, trying to figure out what I watched the other night. You think he's hot? Oh, fake can't. Duh. Duh. I forgot what I was talking about. Oh, I know. Yeah, Sling Blade was awesome, and I don't know why you can't. I looked it up and it told why. Wait a minute, I'll Google it right quick. Just check. It says, hold on, I'll share it. That really excites me, KB Bells. Hook me up, please, ma'am. It says, Sling Blade is often difficult to watch because of complex legal issues related to its distribution rights, stemming from the film being made before the widespread era of streaming, which means it might not be readily available on major platforms. And you can't. Let's see, watch. See, where can I watch Sling Blade? See? Because it isn't streaming, the only way to watch is by picking a physical copy. Picking up a. Okay, great. Thank you. Do you have my email to email me that, KB Bells? Is that how I get it? You do, Pam? We got some last night, probably about 3 inches. No, no, about 2 inches. And the sun's out, so it won't be long till it's gone. Do you have my email? Did I already ask that? That's what I'm gonna watch tonight, when I go to bed is Sling Blade if you sent it. That's what I do. Lay in bed and watch a movie. Yeah, somebody said we were supposed to get some ice and stuff, but I don't think we're going to. I may have to go get my charger. So ice under snow, that sucks. Let me check to see if our case is back on. Nope. Man, the comments, people go back and forth over on Court TV. If you know how to torrents, I can give you an invite to our private group. I have a few. I don't know how to do that. I don't know what a torrent is. Absolutely, Heather. Let's hope my buttercups make it through. And I think they will. They usually do. Okay, thank you. I don't know what that is. No, is there? I didn't even know there was a new soap opera. I had no idea. I need to catch up on General Hospital. I'm so far behind it. Tomato plants, right? It's getting that time. I know. I'm sorry for the dead air, y'all. I'm just chilling here waiting for. I hope we don't have another repeat of yesterday where it don't come back on. I'm also reading the comments to see if they know anything. They don't. Deep south. Oh, One Life to Live. Used to watch One Life to Live. Todd and what was her name? Blair. Blair? I don't think that's right. It might be. Um, I really liked One Life to Live. I used to love General Hospital so much. You know the guy that played Nicholas Cassadine died? Tyler, what's his name? Days of Our Lives from Birth. Mom was a picture of me. Oh yeah, somebody's like showing when you were sick from school, and you'd sit here and in the morning watch your watch the Price is Right, and then the soaps would come on. Started at noon. Watch my stories. Yep. Yep, Nanny watched As the World Turns, then One Life to Live, and General Hospital. She never got into Days of Our Lives. My cosmetology teacher was hooked on Days of Our Lives, though. We had to watch it every day. Somebody just said they're on Southern Time, so get your sweet tea. They are not on Southern Time. Thank you very much. Come on, it was getting good. Below zero wind chills overnight. Can you believe this, Pammy? Maybe this is our last really cold snap before we get some good weather. Well, it's supposed to get up really warm next week. Feels like 17 now, it says 31 degrees. Feels like 17. And then next week, get this, it's going to be in the 60s. Tell me that's not crazy. Think so? You must be talking about Luke and Laura. Same. Yeah, I know. Florida even got snow. I wonder what Wendell's doing. I'll text her. I don't know if she's a. No, this weather is insane. Your son was one when they got married? Really? I don't know. Let me see how old I was. Let me look up what year they got married. They got married in 81, so I was 6. Oh, I think Gretchen will be boring, and yeah, that stupid groundhog. Amen. Um, I thought Tamara left too, Heather King, but I guess they assume it's gonna be boring without her. Still on lunch break, y'all. It's almost time though. I'm gonna run and get the charger to this. Yeah, she's still with Slade. They have a baby girl. No, so I guess she's not even a baby now. She's a school age. Hold on, I'm gonna go get it. There we go. All right, we're plugged in. Let's see if they're back. Not yet. You're not old. Okay. Now completed stand trial finally. Really? Oh, finally. Golly, that's been a while. That's been a really long time. I wonder where they get all that money though. Who? Heather? He's a surgeon, and I'd say they were born into it too though, if you think about it. All right, nothing yet, y'all. Nothing yet. Still not back. Come on. I'm reading comments to see. Hughes is back. Okay, somebody wrote in chat. Says Hughes is back on the stand now. Court order delay is preventing airing. Still defense's case. Okay, well, I hope she knows what she's talking about. Yeah. Oh, quite right. Is that what you mean? Well, that was his brother. She wouldn't have got. I think it's, and well, one inherited, but two, I think, look, he's done a lot. They've been on a lot of stuff, even before the Housewives. Come on. I think it came on for a second and went back off. Kelly Dodd's trashy. She's so trashy, but Tamara is too. I find, yeah, yeah. I like botched. It's a good show. That's what I figured, Heather. Oh, really? I haven't seen. I don't have that channel though. So, all right. Let me peep over here and see what's happening. Not a thing. Nothing yet, y'all. Just hang in here. Nothing yet. Right. Come on. Let's go. Let's get this show on the road. Woo-hoo-hoo. Oh yeah, it's Wednesday. That doesn't even seem like it, does it? Well, it don't. It maybe y'all. It don't to me. Hey, Nevaeh. Wednesday. Snow. Cold. Yes. Well said. Very well said. Should have stayed in bed today. Thought about it. I actually really thought about it. My head was hurting. I hurt my back. I could probably use that for a few more days, but it actually feels better. Heather King, I completely understand. Completely. It's hard not to slip. Come on. Somebody said, I see no chance in not. I don't think there's no way he'll get not guilty. I'm very curious to see what he will get, but no way will it be not guilty. Yeah, it's pretty, ain't it, Nevaeh? We can get a whole lot, but we got some. No, Heather, thank you. Uh-oh. Uh-oh, I hear noise. We might be back. Yep, here we go. Finally.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, As I stated at the outset of this trial, I am the sole judge of the law in the case, while you, the jury, sit as the judge of the facts. And part of my role is to make determinations about what evidence can and cannot be admitted and presented to you, the jury. The gatekeeping role rests solely with me, the judge on the law, and I want to instruct you that you're not to consider any testimony that I have instructed you to disregard. Furthermore, you should not even mention or discuss any testimony that I've instructed you to disregard, and I instruct you not to discuss any topics that have been ruled improper when you go to do your deliberation room, okay? All right, please continue, Mr. Morgan.
That's going to be a hard one, sir.
Will incorporates.
Zach, before we broke for lunch, we were in the time period of end of September, beginning of October of 2021. Remember that?
Yes.
And Zach, you testified before lunch about 2 offers John had made you to kill Christina Parcell. Do you remember that?
I remember.
And do you remember after the second offer telling John something to the effect of, you would never do that for money. You would only do that if you believed it was necessary to rescue Aida.
And if I believed there was no other way.
Careful. Don't get back in trouble now.
At the end of September, beginning of October 2021,
Right, Heather King.
did you conclude that you had to rescue Aida and there was no other way?
Yes, I did.
Uh-oh.
Let's talk about what's happening in your life in the beginning of October 2021. And specifically, I want to talk about the status of the music project you have been engaged with Tom Strange in the Seagull Museum. I also want to talk about other employment opportunities. So tell the
No
jury
sound. Y'all
what
can't hear
was
it?
going on in your life on that front at the beginning of October.
At the beginning of October,
Can y'all not hear it? Oh, okay.
where I was just coming off finishing the project at the museum. We finished in September at some point, and as I mentioned before, my birthday is October 2nd, so I had arranged to play a private home recital at the Wynn's home, where I would play the last 3 piano sonatas of Beethoven on my birthday. So these are very, very difficult pieces of music, and some of the greatest pieces of music ever written. So I was very preoccupied trying to give my best to these pieces. And shortly after that, a friend of mine reached out who had done some work performing on cruise ships. There's an organization called Lincoln Center Stage that recruits conservatory-trained musicians to form either a piano quartet or a piano quintet to play classical concerts on cruise ships. And they had a pianist drop out at the last minute, and long story short, I interviewed for this job and got this job, I think on October 12th, but it was about that time, maybe a little earlier.
Where were the winds on October 12th and 13th?
They were in Europe.
And ultimately, did you take Christina Parcell's life on October
Oh,
the 13th?
Yes, because I believed it was absolutely necessary to save Aida, and I was right.
Objection, Your Honor.
Sustained. I ask you to disregard the testimony that you just heard.
I want to talk about the timing. You've alluded to it a little bit. But I want to be more specific. October the 13th, describe for the jury why you felt that was the time, why you believed it, or why it was necessary to do it on October the 13th, specifically, or in this period of time.
I had been wrestling with this since June. As I previously stated, since the end of June, I believed Aida was in complete and grave danger every moment of her life that she was living with her mother.
oh.
And the other things that I had tried to do to save her from that were not working. So I was having this incredible wrestling match within myself for these months, feeling that I needed to do something to save her, and yet feeling this incredible reluctance to do the one thing that I knew would save her because of how terrible I knew it would be to do it, even though I believed it would be right. So by the time October 13th rolled around, I had been grappling with this for a long time, and I was experiencing a tremendous amount of guilt that I had waited as long as I did, because I should have acted sooner, and I didn't do that. So I had come to the realization that I had gotten this offer to go on this cruise ship, and I would have been leaving the country for a long time. Essentially, it was now or never. I had an opportunity to save her from a danger that I knew she was in, and that I knew was not going to cease. And I just couldn't go on with my life and leave her to drown. I mean, I had a great life. I had everything. I made money doing what I loved. I was going to be going to the South Pacific to play concerts for rich people on cruise ships. I mean, but how could I go and enjoy that and know that I was leaving a kid to her fate, a kid who thought that I was her friend? I would never have been able to look at myself in the mirror again if I had done that. So specific to October 13th, I believed that there would be a period of time at the house when Christina Parcell would be alone. And I wanted to make sure that absolutely no one was there. Not Aida, not Lutina, not Brad Post. Because again, this was not about revenge or retribution or anything. I wasn't angry. The only thing I was feeling that day was pity. And I wanted to make sure that no bystander or no one else would be involved in this, which could have happened if someone else was there.
Zach, let's talk about that. So once you concluded, believed absolutely this was what you had to do, did you go about planning?
Yes, I planned very carefully to make sure, one, like I said, that no one else would be involved in this. And two, I knew that if I tried to do this and failed, it would only be worse for Aida.
No, why not the boyfriend? That's
And
if it wasn't revenge.
consistent with the court's instructions, why did you believe it'd be worse for Aida?
Because I believed that if I was discovered doing this, it would connect me to John Mello. And I believed, and I still believe, that he's a great father and he is Aida's best shot at having a happy and safe childhood.
Let's talk about the planning. Did you get a gun?
Yes.
At the time, were you also carrying your own firearm?
Yes, I had a concealed weapons permit at the time, so I generally would always be carrying a 9mm concealed weapon on my person for personal protection.
Did you get another firearm for this?
Yes, I did.
What type of firearm did you get?
It was a .22 caliber revolver
Where did you get it?
at a gun show.
Where was the gun show?
It was here in Greenville.
How long before October 13th did you get the .22?
Maybe a month or month and a half earlier.
Did you also get a knife?
Yes, I did.
Where did you get the knife?
At the gun show.
At about the same time?
It was the same day.
Let's talk about what else, what other planning you did. Did you obtain gloves?
Yes, I did.
Remember where you got the gloves?
No, I don't.
Did you obtain any chemicals?
Yes, I bought some paint thinner because, again, I didn't want to be connected to this because I wanted to make sure this would actually do something to save Aida. So in case a glove had broken or I had left a fingerprint or something, I wanted to be able to clean it with the paint thinner.
Zach, let's talk about your bike and what you did to become familiar with the area of the Canebrake leading up to October the 13th.
I had looked at a route I would be able to take from the mountain house that I was staying at on back roads to avoid traffic cameras. So maybe a few days beforehand, I looked at Google Maps and I figured out how this route would lead.
Let's talk about October the 12th. Did you originally plan to do this on October the 12th?
Yes.
Zach, consistent with the court's instructions, describe to the jury why you didn't do it on October the 12th.
I woke up that day and I just felt such reluctance, and something in my gut told me it wasn't the right day. And I waited one more day.
Let's go to October the 13th. You testified earlier that you wanted to plan in part
It's so rare to have somebody say, yes, I did
to
it.
prevent
Woo.
or minimize danger to others. Remember that?
Yes, I do.
Did you have information about where people would be on October the 13th?
To a degree, yes.
How did you get that information?
From John Mello.
What did he tell you?
He told me when Aida would be at school, and he told me that he believed Christina had a job interview at some point that morning.
Uh-oh. Uh-oh, this is going to mean that John Mello knew. I'm telling you, John Mello's going to get arrested.
So let's talk about that morning. The evening of October the 12th, where did you spend the night?
at the Mountain House.
You woke up on the morning of October 13th and you left the Mountain House, is that correct?
Yes, it is.
Do you remember approximately when you left the Mountain House?
It was much later than I meant to. I think it was about 8 or 8:15 in the morning.
When you left the Mountain House, in which vehicle did you leave?
In my Ford Ranger.
What was in the back of the Ford Ranger?
My bike.
That bike right there.
Yes.
Oh,
And just for the clarity of the record, this is a state's exhibit. I don't have the number that was introduced. What else did you put in your pickup truck in addition to the bike?
I brought the gloves and I put this in a backpack. I brought the paint thinner and the gun I described, the .22. I brought a knife and I brought a box that was made to look like a gift wrapped box and a bunch of roses that I had bought the day before.
Talk
about the roses.
in a minute. When you left the Mountain House, where did you go?
I drove to a road that runs parallel very close to Canebrake.
When you got to that location, well, before we go further, describe for this jury the ride in your truck from the Mountain House to this location, what you were thinking, what you were feeling, what was going through your mind.
Like I said, I had wrestled with this for months. I had come to the point where rationally I knew that the only way Aida was going to be saved from what she was enduring was for me to take this route. I knew that. But there's another element, a human element, which is just so reluctant and revulsed by the idea of taking a human life.
Mm-hmm.
So I had prayed a great deal about this. I had prayed like I'd never prayed before, because even knowing that logically this was the right thing to do, it didn't satisfy that emotional and human aspect where I felt that I needed permission to do this. And I was so terrified that somehow I might be doing the wrong thing. Like I knew that it was right logically, but there's the emotional aspect was just reeling against this idea.
Come on now, this wasn't the right thing to
She was a
do.
woman. I was raised to always protect my sisters and mother, and I opened doors for women growing up. So this idea was just repugnant to me, even though I believed it was necessary to save a child. So on that morning, I had prayed earlier, a few days earlier, and I had felt that this was the right thing to do, no matter how terrible and difficult it was going to be. So like I said, I didn't feel anger. I felt pity because I realized that this was just the only way to save a child.
I don't know that I believe that.
Essentially, it felt like a foregone conclusion because I knew
30-something stab wounds, and he
that
wasn't
I had a
mad.
duty to do this to save a child. So physically driving my truck there,
Pretty much, Nevaeh.
I was experiencing a level of anxiety and physical illness that I had just never experienced due to stress before. My hands were shaking. I was in a cold sweat, and I was fighting the urge to vomit before I even got close there. A few times I thought I was going to have to pull off to the side of the road because I could hardly keep my truck straight. My hands were shaking so badly. But the whole time I was just thinking, if I don't do this, if I turn back, then I'm consigning Aida to her fate when I know that I could have done something to stop what was happening. So I just tried to take my mind off of it, and I tried to just go and drive a little bit farther and a little bit farther and not think about what I was going to have to do when I got there. And when I finally got to the point where I parked my truck, this feeling only increased.
Yeah, that would make sense,
I
Nevaeh. I think I would get sick.
I knew the plan, but I was having so much difficulty going through with it. So I took my bike out of the truck, and I had a mask on and clothing that's been described already. And I just tried to focus on putting one foot in front of the other on my bike. And it felt like some runs or rucks I had been on where all I could do was focus on putting one foot in front of the other because it was so difficult to keep going. And I just kept seeing Aida's face and reminding myself that if I don't do this, no one's going to come to save her. And I kept pedaling, and eventually I arrived in front of 122 Canebrake.
Zach, we're going to talk about what happened when you got to 122 Canebrake in just a second. You described having a gun and having a knife. Initially, were you going to use the gun?
Yes.
Did you ultimately decide to use the gun?
No.
Why not?
I was very concerned about using a gun because of how loud it would be. And I didn't want to alert a neighbor or a bystander who might come to investigate and get involved. So I tried to suppress the gun by making a makeshift suppressor. And in movies, these things are made out to be like it's very easy, and a suppressed gun is just very silent, and that's not the case. So ultimately, I test fired the gun, and I had bought some subsonic ammunition, which is supposed to be quieter, but I didn't realize that on a revolver, a suppressor doesn't work because the end of the cylinder is open. And I realized just a day or two beforehand that I couldn't use a gun because it could potentially involve someone else in this if someone heard a gunshot and came to investigate.
If you had had a choice, would you have rather used a gun?
I would have rather not to have had to have done it at all, but if I had to, yes, I would have chosen a gun.
Why is that?
Because it would have been quicker and more humane.
All right. Let's talk about you arrive at the house in 122 Canebrake. Do you remember about what time you arrived there?
This is wild.
I think it was a little after 9 in the morning.
And you arrived there on your bike. Is that how you?
Yes.
And you testified about this a little bit, but tell the jury what you're wearing.
I had on black pants and a black thermal and a gray shirt over that. I had on a black beanie and a white medical mask, and I had on black gloves
I
and a
believe
black
them
backpack.
in some ways, Nevaeh, but for some reason, I'm not feeling empathy either. I don't know. Because I don't know. There's proof that there's proof that he's not lying. There's proof that the little girl was being harmed. But it seems like, I don't know. It just seems like there would have been a different way. I don't know.
You
I don't know.
do you
Oh,
remember
here's
how
Wendell.
many vehicles were parked in the driveway when you got there?
Hello, good morning.
One.
Good morning. He's on stand admitting it.
I know, I've been watching.
Have you? Oh,
Yeah, I wanted to get caught up before I came up.
okay.
Here's my issue. He murdered her.
Right.
He clearly premeditated, murdered her.
Pre-met. Yes. Yes.
Obviously, planned it out for however long time, not just a moment. I appreciate that he feels like he had no other choice, but I don't understand where the police were. Where is DCS? Where are, if these pictures are so easily found, why did they not find them? You didn't give them
Well,
to DCS? Like, I don't understand. I don't
well, I
understand.
think when CPS came, the little girl didn't tell. But my problem is kill why kill the woman and not the boyfriend?
Well, because he wanted her to get custody of, go to her dad. He didn't, the boyfriend's
Right.
trying to get custody of the girl. He's trying to save the girl. He don't care. That's his,
Oh,
he's trying to
okay.
save
I
the
see.
girl. So if he kills the mom, the girl will have to go to dad because the girl's not going to
So
go
he
to the boy.
couldn't save her. He couldn't save her if she was still with the mom.
Right.
So I guess. Well, yeah. I'm not. I don't think. I believe that he wanted to help this child. I do believe that, but I don't believe that he's going to get off. I don't think that this is gonna.
Because ultimately they're going to argue, well, they can't. I don't think legally they can. But they're going to basically ask the jury to pretend you don't hear all this, see this man as a hero, when really he comes off cold, calculated. He could be a serial killer.
Yeah.
The way he's talking, he gives serial killer vibes. I'm not seeing, this was the hardest thing I've ever had to do. I'm throwing up the whole time. You planted rose petals around her. Like, some part of you was happy to do this. That can't be okay.
I have to agree with that. But I understand what you're saying too, Holden. All right, let's get back to it.
When you arrived at the house and you got off your bike, what did you do?
I laid my bike down in the driveway and I took my backpack off and I took out the box that had been gift wrapped, that had an end open. And I put the .22 revolver in that box. And I put the backpack back on my back and I took a bunch of roses and I walked up to the door and I rang the doorbell. And I was
Oh,
shaking and freaking out at this point because there was nowhere I wanted to be less than at that house on that morning. And when I rang the doorbell, the door opened and a woman came to the front. And I thought it was Christina Parcell, but I wanted to make sure. And I also wanted to make sure that no one else was home. So I told her that while I was holding the box and the roses, that I had a delivery for Lutina Parcell, her sister. And she told me that Lutina wasn't home. So at this point, I realized that Christina was at the house alone. And I handed her the roses. And I took the revolver out of the box and I pointed it at her and I told her to be quiet and to go back into the house, which she did. And I followed her into the house and I shut the door. And I was experiencing such anxiety that my body wasn't really doing what I was telling it to do anymore. Like when I realized that I couldn't use the gun, which was unloaded at this point, my plan had been to try to knock her unconscious because I didn't want to cause her or anyone any pain. That wasn't my intention. I just wanted to save Aida and to make sure that no one else who was a bystander would be involved in this or could be endangered in any way.
Did you stop it?
So I tried, while she was holding the roses, to strike her on the head and knock her unconscious. But my body was fighting me because
I was talking. Yeah, I didn't mean to.
even though I knew who she was and what she was doing and the danger that was putting Aida in,
I didn't hear what you said. Were you muted?
I was still looking at her and I was seeing
Yeah, I
a
was.
sympathetic figure. I was seeing a woman, and I had always been taught never to hurt a woman, to always protect women and children.
I don't believe you. I don't believe him.
So when I went to strike her with the gun, my hand didn't really do what I was trying to tell it to. I essentially pulled my strike. It
So he
felt
didn't
like
shoot her?
a time I had been
He stabbed her
cliff
30-something
jumping with
times.
friends. I have
Oh my
a big
God.
fear of heights, and there was a 30-foot face that you could jump off and jump into a deep pool of water.
Hold
And
on.
when I would run up to the edge,
Hold on, Randy.
I would try to.
Didn't he say that he didn't want her to suffer like extra harm or whatever?
Mm-hmm.
He wanted
Yeah,
this
that's
to be quick or whatever. So why, if that's true, see, you're lying, man. You're lying. Because you why would you stab her 30-something times if you're trying to not have her experience all this pain? You'd have a loaded gun and you'd shoot her with it.
and you felt no anger. He said he felt no anger.
Yeah, humane was the word he used. What's humane about 30-something stabs? You're full of shit, sir. Sorry.
Yeah. We're
You're
not
full of
defending
shit.
her actions, but
Oh,
I
not even
can't.
a little bit. She's a piece of shit who's going to burn in hell. Bye. But
Yeah.
this guy right here, I'm sorry. This is not. You're not okay for what you did, sir. Sorry.
No. Yeah, he said the gun was too loud. Well, if he was there to get justice for a baby, he wouldn't care.
Mm-mm.
Get a running start and jump off the edge, and I just couldn't. Like my body would stop me against my will, and I had to try to do this 10 or 15 or 20 times before I could actually get myself to go over the edge. So when I struck her on the head with the pistol, that's what happened. It didn't knock her unconscious, and I hardly struck her at all, to be honest. So I tried again, and the same thing happened. I just couldn't bring myself to strike her. And at this point, she realized that I was hesitating, and she began to try to move herself and to get away and to fight back. And during this period of time, the roses had dropped and the petals and stems had scattered. And as I was hesitating, I realized that the situation was quickly getting out of control. And if I didn't pull myself together and act soon, this was all going to end up terribly for Aida, because what was happening to her would never be uncovered.
Wow.
You heard testimony that at this time, Christina weighed 163 pounds. How much did you weigh on October the 13th?
About 160.
So she was kicking your ass and you had to stab her that
So
many times.
I realized that I was going to have to somehow force myself to do this at any cost. So I pulled out the knife I was wearing. And even though I knew I wasn't going to be able to strike her with any amount of force, I still tried. So I started striking her, though my strikes were pulled. And I think the knife made contact with her, but it wasn't.
You think?
It wasn't stopping her, and it wasn't inflicting anything that could be a fatal blow. And she started to fight back. She realized I was hesitating, and it became a struggle. And in this struggle, all I could do was try to overcome this resistance I had towards doing this thing. Even though I knew it was right, I still had this physical and emotional resistance to doing it. So I just kept striking her and striking her until finally we fell on the floor. And at this point, I had just tried to take my mind out of it and just try to get through this and finish it as quickly as possible, because I realized that it was only becoming prolonged, and I had to do this in order to save Aida. So I don't remember how many times I struck her. I just remember that when it finished, we were on the ground, and I stopped striking her when she stopped struggling.
Wow.
And at this point,
Sorry.
I stood up, and I
Sounds like he's obsessed with this girl.
I was still freaking out, and I was.
The little girl, I don't know if I don't think he's obsessed with her, but possibly her dad. Maybe her, but possibly the dad. I don't know.
I don't know.
Something's wrong.
Really, something's very off here.
Yeah.
The vibe is not good. He's not passing the vibe check.
Yeah, I mean, where he doesn't look remorseful. Like
Nope. He looks like he's going to explain this away, and people are going to just understand and be, "Wow, you poor thing! How you went through such a terrible experience. You're a superhero, and you're the hero we didn't know we needed." And shut up.
Yeah, I was about to say, he wants to be seen as a hero, and then yes, hero complex, and you said hero, yes.
And I was just trying to pull myself together and figure out what I needed to do to leave the house. And again, I wanted to make sure that I didn't leave anything behind that would connect me to it, because then I believe John would be connected to it, and it would only further put Aida in danger, because I didn't know if Christina Parcell was the only person involved in what was happening to Aida. And she wasn't.
Oh, okay. Well, he didn't know that the boyfriend.
So I quickly looked around to make sure I hadn't left a mask or a glove, and I started to pick up the rose petals and realized that I just didn't have time to do that. Again, I was concerned that a neighbor might have heard the commotion and that a neighbor might come by to investigate, and I didn't want that. So I drew the blinds and I moved her body away from the door, which had windows, because I didn't want someone to come to the door and see her. And I put my things back in the backpack, and I looked in a mirror before I left to make sure everything was in order, and I saw that she had scratched my face in the struggle. And of course, I realized that
that means your DNA is up there now.
DNA.
Yep.
So I used the paint thinner to try to clean her hands.
Wow.
Wow. And then I changed my mask and I took off my outer shirt because there was blood on it.
See, I knew his DNA was under her fingernails. I didn't know there was paint thinner. He thought this through.
Hang on. Elsie said, just found out John Mello has been arrested. Wow. Who's John Mello?
That's the dad. I knew it. I knew that he was going to be arrested because this guy here, you know, he's like, yeah, John Mello offered me $5,000 and then $10,000 to kill her.
Yeah.
So now what's going to happen? Oh,
And I put it in the backpack. And at
and you
this
brought
point,
paint thinner. I didn't even
I
think
was
about
really
that. Oh, my
worried that
word.
someone that Lutina might come back to the house, or Brad Post might come to the house, or a neighbor might come over. So I was trying to leave the house as quickly as possible. And before I left, when I realized that I had probably left my DNA there, despite my effort not to, I prayed again and just said that I believe that what I've done is the right thing, and I
Give it
believe
up.
that I did it for the right reason.
You can
But
give that
if
up.
it's your will that I be connected to this, then I will turn myself in and I will own up to what I've done, and I'll take responsibility for it because I believed that it was the right thing. And then
Can I just say that if he thought this was the right thing to do, he would have went straight to the cops. He wouldn't have worried about paint thinner. He wouldn't have worried about anything else. Now he's full of shit.
That's the night you jump with this guy. Sorry.
Do what?
Should have gone to the police.
left, I exited out through the door and I got back on my bike and I pedaled my bike back to the truck and I drove back to the mountain house. And I was still completely freaking out and it felt entirely surreal. But there is a big difference in how I felt, in that as soon as I left the house, I felt the most enormous wave of relief wash over me, because I knew from that moment on, Aida would be safe. Aida would be safe from the sexual abuse that her mother was perpetrating on
Can't
her.
say that.
And there is proof to that the state is hiding from you.
Your Honor, instruct him to be quiet.
Oh,
Wow. Whoa.
I knew he's going to do that.
Oh, yeah. He's not even a little sorry.
Uh-uh.
And I don't blame him. I wouldn't be either. I think it's stupid that they can't hear that.
Yeah, I agree.
I think they should be able to hear that. It goes to motive. It's motive.
You're cutting out a little bit. I can't hear you.
Sorry, hold on.
I wonder if they just got...
I said it goes to motive. It goes to his motive. Like, why is that not relevant? This is what he believed at the time. Doesn't have to be true. It is what he believes, though. Court is on a short break while the judge screams at the witness.
I wonder...
What is that
be a mistrial
saying when they're yelling like that? I can't understand what he's saying. It's not objection. He's saying something else. Can you rewind it a little back? Let's hear that part again.
Yeah.
Since we're waiting anyway.
Yeah, there is proof. There's actual proof, Warrior Grandma.
But there is a big difference in how I felt, in that as soon as I left the house, for me, because I knew from that moment on, Aida would be safe. Aida would be safe from the sexual abuse that her mother was perpetrating on her. And there is proof to that the state is hiding from you.
Your Honor, instruct him to be quiet.
Oh, instruct him to be quiet. Gotcha.
Yeah.
Yeah, try to unhear that, jury. Pretend you didn't.
Yeah. Undo.
Yeah, this is going to be a whole ass mistrial. I don't know. I don't know how they're going to try this case because I don't think he's ever going to not do this. It'll just be a mistrial after mistrial, I guess.
Yeah.
He's going to keep doing this. He's going to keep doing it because, fuck you and your laws. This girl, you want to, I don't get it. I don't understand it because the whole thing about the proof, though, he shouldn't say that the state is hiding from you like that. That's not good. But it does go to his motive. It does go to why he did this, what he believed to be true at the time. Whether it's true or not, he should be able to say that to the jury.
What are they going to do now? They were back for a second, or it may he just may have just stood up. And
Yeah, no,
gotten
he
the
just
camera.
stood up. They weren't back. But he's already in
Dang.
jail. I mean, even if he does get contempt, so right? He's already in jail. This guy.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah, exactly. He doesn't have a thing to lose. He doesn't care.
And
He's
once
not trying
again,
to
we
help.
have the ba-da-da-da-da. It's like,
Yeah.
but they're not really trying to. They're trying to hide. They have to hide it. It's not like they're trying to hide it. They have
They
to.
don't have to hide it, though. It's his motive. I don't get it. I don't understand the law that makes that okay. Let him tell why he did it. Here's what he thought. He could say he thought that she was an alien from Mars. Whatever his motive was, whatever his thinking was, that should be evident. He should be allowed to say that.
But she wasn't convicted, and that's accusing her, and she's not on trial.
He's not accusing her, though. He's saying what he thought it was. He could be wrong. He could very well be wrong, but that's what he was thinking. That's his ghost frame of mind and what he was thinking at the time. And motive.
Well, you're not wrong.
He is still giving serial killer vibes, and I'm sorry. To me, it's like he got a taste for it. I think he's going to kill someone else before his life is over. I don't know. He's giving me serial killer vibes. Sorry, he's freaking me out. I don't want to be anywhere near him.
Yeah, I don't want to hang out with this fella.
No.
I'm like you. I think this is a fantasy of his. I don't know. Maybe and I hope I could be wrong, but I don't think that he's like. He looked in the mirror and saw a scratch. What? That's all you saw? You didn't see yourself covered in blood from 30-something stab wounds where you stabbed her 30-something?
But that's not what he was looking for. He was looking for DNA. Is it possible that I left DNA? So he plotted this out to the second, and then even plotted the way to cover it up. This man knew what he was doing was wrong. He knew what he was doing is wrong.
Yes.
And Nevaeh, I agree with you. The jury should decide what's credible or not. And if this guy comes off as credible, they'll believe him. Doesn't mean they come back not guilty. What are the charges?
Yeah. I honestly don't know what the charges are. I don't think that. Let me see if I can Google what are his charges.
I'm guessing murder, premeditated.
Well,
murder? Like, is he up for death penalty?
I don't think he is up for death penalty. Charges, and I can never remember.
Zachary Hughes is his name.
Zachary. For some reason, I can't remember the name Zachary Hughes. I can remember.
I don't understand how DCS failed so badly. He had these pictures. He said he saw pictures of the mom and the child. Right?
No, he said he saw pictures of
the mom.
Just the mom.
How did he know the child was involved? How did he come to know that?
The light went out of the child's eyes. He felt like she was being abused. I don't know if did he say that I'm not sure. I don't think she told the dad.
Bye, Carrie. Have a good day, honey. It is premeditated for sure. Absolutely, it is. So he didn't have any proof?
He had no proof at the time. Not that I know of. No. They didn't have pictures until after the murder, right?
So
when they took electronics.
On a hunch, he killed this woman.
Yes.
Without even seeing the proof.
Yes.
And when DCS was involved, they interviewed the kid, and the kid didn't tell what was happening.
No.
And part of the DCS investigation didn't include looking through the parents' phones, looking through their pictures, looking through any whatevers.
No, DCS don't do that.
They
Because he didn't say that. He didn't say that. And when he called DCS, he said being physically and verbally abusive. He didn't say sexually abusive.
Why not?
I don't know.
So what
Because
is
he said he had witnessed it, and I guess you can't say you witnessed that.
okay, so what was his No, but they can get a court order is what I'm saying, Jen. If they have an ongoing investigation and they have reasonable suspicion, they can get a court order to seize that stuff.
Yeah, but the accusation was physically and verbally abusive, and
And what is his
that's what
relationship to the dad? Is he in love with this dad?
he said. The dad got on his nerves and had grandiose stories, but yet was telling the truth about this, and the dad got on his nerves, but they were decent friends, I guess. It's weird. The friendship between him and the dad I find weird.
So, you know what else I find odd? Like, it would never occur to me, Randy, to ask you to kill somebody because I know you wouldn't do that. Just like I assume you wouldn't ask me to kill somebody because you know that I wouldn't do that.
No.
But somehow her dad had no problem asking this guy, not once, but twice, if he would do it. So he obviously was giving off a vibe even then.
Yes.
I mean, I'm that's all allegation. You know, I'm just making that up in my head, but it is possible that he's always been this kind of, maybe he's always had some sick fantasy about killing somebody and scattering roses and da 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 da.
Well, yeah. Well, we need to hear what John Mello says, because why would he feel comfortable in asking somebody that he hadn't even known all his life? You know,
right? That's my question. Why would he ask you to kill somebody? Why did he think you'd even be up for that?
Yeah.
Because you told him, unless I knew that she was in danger. That's what you told him. I think he's obsessed with this girl. I don't know. I don't know. I think him and this girl. I think he has a weird,
I don't know. See, I disagree.
on her.
It could be it. That could be it. I disagree. I think that the fixation was with killing somebody. He got a gun. He bought special bullets. He tested them. But I think he always planned on
years.
I think he always planned on stabbing her because he didn't think about choking. He didn't think about putting a pillow over her face. He went straight to stabbing 30 something times. And you know what? You don't have to get stabbed 30 something times before you stop fighting back. That's not true.
Agree. And he could have sliced her throat. Instead, he stabbed her 30 something times. That's intent. That is enjoying. You want to do this. Every single one of those stabs was a choice. You chose over and over 30 times to do this.
Something ain't right. Yeah, you're right, Heather. He bought the gun when he bought the knife same day. Oh, okay. See, I find it, that is something else that he kept saying, that he wasn't even angry.
Yeah, bought it at a gun show so that he couldn't be traced. Like, I think people buy guns at gun shows because they don't do background checks and stuff.
And then to use his sister, which, he just threw his sister all up under the bus. I wonder if she's going to come out fighting and arguing, because he's using basically that as an excuse. I had a sister who was mean. Well, so did I. I love you, JoJo. She
So
was
what? He
mean.
had a sister that was mean?
Nah, I guess, yeah, Grace, that was her name. I guess she was more than that, according to him. She was a really bad person, but that it is what he's using as what set off in his mind that this woman had to die because he knew what the child was living through because he had a sister that basically was the same. But possibly this mom was worse than the sister. I don't.
So he could have been fantasizing about killing his sister while he was killing this woman.
Well, yeah,
Jen, that's what I'm saying.
right.
I think we're saying the same thing, Jen. That if CPS, if with probable cause or with whatever suspicion or whatever, they get a search warrant, court order, whatever it is that I said. Sorry, that's what I meant though. Yes, they work with the sheriff's department to get all of that.
And it had the little girl, which they normally don't speak up, especially at 8 years old. They're scared.
Well, and I
You
don't know
know,
if the little girl knows what is happening. If she knows that it's wrong, what's happening? Who knows what they're telling her? I don't know. We have no idea. We don't know. She could be totally confused as to what's right and wrong over here. Her mom is telling her that she's helping make money for the family. We don't know.
no, that's true. And so I wonder where she is now that the dad's been arrested.
I don't know. That's what I'm thinking, Pammy B. Yes, Jen, that's exactly what I meant to say. I apologize if I said it wrong.
I gotta say, this is. He really thought. I really think he thought he was going to get up there and testify and free himself. Can. They're going to be able to look at him and tell he's a nut job. I'm not saying he didn't save her. He probably did. I mean, obviously they uncovered a bunch of stuff, and the boyfriend's in jail, and he's going to go to trial. But this guy, there is something up.
Yeah.
I
I
believe
don't
he
think
had a murder fantasy.
I don't think this guy needs to walk. I think he needs to spend the rest of his life in jail.
I think you're right. I don't think
Being,
I
being
I
proud
don't
of his,
think
being proud of his behavior. Go
yeah,
ahead,
I
sir.
don't think the world is safe with this fellow walking around or riding a
No.
bicycle or going on a cruise ship playing the piano for us. Nah. Imagine you pay all that money for a cruise and that's your entertainment. No, thanks. I didn't really like the victim's sister either, and that's who we get. Right? Hold it. I didn't like her either.
So I wonder what the dad was arrested for.
Well,
Conspiracy to cheat.
probably, yes. I'd say that's it. Because you said you heard it. He's like, he offered me this, and then he offered me that.
Yeah. But that's just this guy's testimony. There's no proof of this. We need just his testimony is not enough.
That's true. But it's true. He's been arrested. Second man arrested in connection to the killing on. Let's see. I bet he wants to punch him right in the gullet right now.
No, is he supposed to look more innocent, less guilty because the dad was also involved?
Do what now?
I said, is he supposed to look less guilty because dad was also wanting her dead?
I don't know.
By saying that. Why even say that? Why even implicate the guy?
I know. You know why? I think he got up there and he thought, I'm not going down by myself.
Then he really doesn't give a shit about the girl.
Exactly. Exactly.
If you don't care about the girl, then what's this all about? You're lying.
Based on the open court testimony during the active trial of Zachary Hughes, along with existing evidence, warrants for the arrest of 64-year-old John Joey Mello were issued.
Is he in Italy?
I reckon, yeah.
If he's in Italy, they're going to have to extradite him. I wonder if they will.
No, wait a minute. It says here, at around
Hold him.
1:30
Can we
p.m.
read it? Hold him.
Oh, I had looked it up on my phone.
I never found. Okay.
It says around 1:30 p.m. It's not long. Members of the Greenville County Sheriff's Office Fugitive Apprehension Specialized Investigation Teams arrested Mello at his home located on Blake Street.
He's not
Well,
even out of the country?
no.
No. Dude, why not? You should have run for your life. Take your girl and go. Well, that's it for him. So then the girl goes where? Where does the girl go now?
I hope not to that weird looking sister. I thought he was in Italy too. You know his asshole puckered as soon as this dipshit got on the stand and said that.
Damn.
And see, right now, what I would be thinking if had this boyfriend not been arrested, I wouldn't be believing this story. But being that they found the pictures and stuff.
Yeah. I mean, I can believe his story. He comes off somewhat believable, I guess. Maybe because I already know that those pictures exist and that he's telling the truth about that, but I would want to see more. I would want to see proof. I want to know there's proof out there.
Yeah. See, I don't. If I didn't know about the pictures, I don't think I would believe his story because he's making himself seem too innocent. I prayed about it. And if God,
like God said, go for it. Well, then here's what I know about God. He would also say, then you take your consequences as well. That means you're going to spend the rest of your life in jail.
Yeah.
You're going to pay consequences for what you do.
No, he didn't have any proof before he did that, and he left that out. That's what he's hiding from the jury. But he did say while he was on stand, he said, if what I thought was true, which it was, because then he would reiterate, which it was true.
Right. But when did he find that out? After he killed her?
Yes.
So he killed her on a hunch.
Yes.
That is, I don't know. That's not good enough to kill somebody. I'm sorry.
No, it's not good enough to. Thank God that's not good enough to kill. No.
Even in his book, that's not good enough. On a hunch? On someone else's word? It's not.
A scorned ex.
He wanted to do this. I think a part of him liked it.
I agree with that. I think he wanted to do too. I look at him. Look, he can't help how he looks, but he has zero remorse. Zero.
Right. Zero remorse, and he gives off a vibe of somebody who planned this so meticulously and almost enjoyed every bit of the planning, every bit of the execution, up until the part where she started to kick his ass back. Right. He probably loved every second of that.
And let's not forget, he got nauseous and his stomach was upset before he did it, but not during or after.
Right.
And again, even though he left this in God's hands, he took paint thinner. Don't make sense.
Right. To make sure he got the scene.
Yeah. And you know what? I didn't know paint thinner was supposed to erase DNA.
I'm guessing it's similar to like bleach or something, right? Where it just kills everything.
I don't know.
I don't know if it erased it or just gets so bad that no one would be able to use it.
Well, it didn't work because they still found his DNA.
There you go.
Oh.
So he tried to cover it up too, like, which proves he knew what he did was wrong.
Yeah. But you can't really sit there and say you did all this for the right reasons if you tried to hide it
Right.
because you were ashamed of it. Not
Yeah.
ashamed, but you didn't want to
You
get
knew,
caught.
you knew what you did was wrong. You knew you were gonna be in trouble for this.
And I think today he woke up and thought, yep, John Mellow's going to be in trouble too. That's what I think. John Mello wasn't in jail until he got up on the stand. And the cops were just waiting on him to say that.
Mama Stone said the state is asking for the death penalty.
Mm.
And I would say he's going to get it. He absolutely premeditated this. And I'm sorry, he gives a vibe like he would do it again. And he probably will do it again before his life is over. I wouldn't be surprised if 10 years from now we're hearing on the news that he killed somebody in prison.
I am
way too meticulous, way too happy to be, excited, all the little bits and pieces of it. No, that's not cool, man. Something's wrong.
I agree. And he gave someone the death penalty and he didn't have the right to do that.
Absolutely. I mean, she could be a whole piece of shit. Sounds like she was a whole piece of shit, but
yeah, it's not like
that's why we have police. I mean, that's, let the police do the job then.
I don't know, didn't they say that the dad had contacted the police a lot, but yeah, he had to have proof.
But I don't
understand
how they didn't get it. How did they not have proof? They found all this proof after everybody was dead or locked up or whatever. How did they not find it before? They didn't look.
Because the cops didn't look. The cops didn't go through their
yeah, they failed. And now a woman is dead.
Mm-hmm.
2 men are arrested. Another guy's in jail. The daughter's life is ruined forever. They failed badly.
They did. They failed. Yeah, I too do not envy that jury. This is crazy. This is the craziest case, I think. But hey, if this one mistrials, I know I can go to this one. It's pretty close.
It's going to mistrial over and over and over. I think he's going to do it over and over. You're going to drive out there for nothing. Every time he takes a stand, it's going to happen, I bet. I would. Fuck it. I got nowhere to be. Where else, what else do I got to do? Nothing.
I feel justified. Right. They found over 15,000 pieces of CP on 9 different devices.
I can't believe that not one of them could find anything before all this mess. Failure. That's failure. Sorry. People have made accusations and fake, false accusations and been way investigated.
That's true.
So I'm sorry, but the word of the dad, that's plenty. That's plenty. The word of the dad. My daughter told me this and this and this is happening. Go find it. They failed.
So sad. It's so sad that it came down to this.
Right. How many people's lives are ruined forever?
Right. Because she's gonna have to live with this. The baby girl, she's got to live this forever.
Yeah. She lost her mom. Now probably going to lose her dad too. Her piano friend, who's a whole freak.
I was going to say that weird ass uncle that you only let come once a year. He's gone.
Crazy.
Who got on there and acted like he helped his parents adopt all those kids. Did y'all notice that? We adopted. We did this. We did that. No. Your parents adopted.
Oh, I didn't hear that part of the testimony.
Yeah. Well, he got up there, because he learned to play the piano so he could play hymns at church.
Right.
Well, did they just start playing music on that channel? They did. Did y'all hear that?
And you know what's so funny is I got a copyright claim because of the music that one of the news stations put on their channel. And I let it play. Wasn't even thinking about it. I figured, well, if they're playing it, then it should be fine. Should be royalty free. Didn't even occur to me that would be a problem. And nope, I got a strike. I'm like, damn it. All right, fine.
Yeah, I got one the other day for playing, what was his name? Pinky the cat, the one that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's worth it. Worth it.
Let us live, for goodness sake.
Yeah.
God. Why can't
Come on, we were cry laughing. Come on.
Well, now you're sharing your revenue. All right,
Yep.
fine. Take it. Take my revenue. Choke on your 15 cents. I'm not gonna get anything anyway.
15 cents. How many? You're getting a lot more views than I am if you're getting 15 cents.
Right. That's true. I don't even know what I get, honestly. Not much. I don't get a lot of ad revenue stuff. I don't even pay attention to that, to be honest.
I don't either.
But they did make me, the thing I was more mad about is they made me take off my merch. I wasn't allowed to have my merch up there. Take it off that video. I was like, damn it. I like having my merch on my videos.
Sometimes I'll do a short, upload a short, and the merch will show up, and I don't even know how. So I must have hit something like. No, I must have hit something like a long time ago, and it just does it. Like it held on to the setting or something.
Yeah, no, I actually pick out items. I pick out things from the merch store, like throughout the Megan Boswell. I put up the True Crime Breakdown merch, the notebook, and stuff. Hi, Millie. I know he's not here. He's at work. He'll be back. I've got Pup with me again. She's missing her boy.
Oh, here we go. Did you watch the Gabby Petito thing on Netflix?
No, I've never followed that case, so I don't really know much about it anyway. But I didn't watch it either. Was it good?
Yeah, it was pretty good. I missed some of it because I fell asleep, so I gotta rewatch it. But
sure. Are you Millie? Come here. Come on, go over there and lay down. You smell. You need to tell Jonathan to wash you. You stink.
Come on back. Here we go again. Another. Boy, they're probably throwing down in that courtroom right now. We want to see it.
There's veins popping out on foreheads. There's everything. Yeah. Everybody's so mad.
Yeah. He did it. He did it.
And I wonder what the defenses say. They just throw their hands up like, we can't control him. We don't know. We told him not to say it. We told him to mind the judge's orders.
Come on, tell them to strike it from what they heard.
Yeah, just tell them to disregard it. I'm sure that'll work.
Yeah, that always works. Y'all know how it goes. Come on. I wish I was there too, because I could be in the courtroom for this. Maybe.
I wonder.
Yeah. I wonder if they're letting people in.
I thought about that too, Jen. I mean, I suppose he could get in trouble, but he's not trying to get the guy to say this stuff. He really can't control what he's saying. I mean, he could be done with questioning and, sit down and let the state have him.
Yeah, he could be like, you know what? I give up.
I'm done. We told enough of this story. I'm not going to say any more words before I go to jail. But oh my God, could you imagine if this was happening in Judge Chuckles' courtroom? Holy cow.
Son of a gun. No, I would have ran out myself. Like, no.
Everybody be running for their life.
Yeah, I'm telling you, when he asked that man that his first name, I was like, "Don't do it, fella, run."
Damn.
Judge chuckles. Oh, Mr. Friendly.
Yeah.
You know, everybody gets a speed ticket in that town. It's like, damn it.
Judge chuckles over there. Such a happy-go-lucky guy.
Yeah, wakes up every day with the sun shining and the birds chirping.
Puts on his orange tie to represent his Vols.
That's
And
right.
comes to the courtroom and throws people in jail for 10 days for looking at him cross-eyed.
Yeah,
Awesome.
I wonder how-
Swear. That's too much power, Judge. That's too much power that you have there.
I bet if you stand up and say, "Roll Tide," 10 days.
That's just too much power, I think. I don't think you should have that much power. It's a little frightening.
You know, the ones voted for him. There was a one woman in there. She's like, "I really just came to say who I voted for and say I'm voting for next time." She said, "It's not going to be him." I was like,
Say that
"Okay,
again.
I don't know anything."
I missed what you said. Say that again.
She said she was there just to say who she voted for, and he's running again. And she said, "I'm going to say who I'm going to vote for next time." She said, "It's not him."
Who said that?
Some woman from there that was in the courtroom.
Oh, she didn't like the judge?
Uh-uh.
Hmm.
No, I said I don't know. I'm not from here. I don't get to vote.
Yeah. I mean I think he's a good judge, I guess, but I just think he has too much power. He's too much power. He's terrifying.
I think that
Don't piss him off.
I think he thought if my ass ends up on Netflix, I'm gonna look like a badass. That's what he was thinking.
I wonder. It's probably the biggest case he's ever had.
Oh, I'm sure.
He was very excited about looking powerful.
Yeah, he didn't want to look like the Murdaugh. Oh wait, that's not one in South Carolina. This guy is. This judge here, he just kind of chill, like, yeah, hold on.
Right. I know. You'd think he'd be more angry.
Yeah,
Because
he's
he's clearly testifying the exact way they told him not to. They've given him several warnings. Obviously, they've emptied the courtroom a couple times. You know the state's losing their mind, busting all kinds of blood vessels.
Yeah, they gotta be.
You know they're furious over there.
Yeah, can you make him stop? No.
Instruct him to shut up.
Yeah. We told you not to lay him on the stand
Oh boy.
yesterday.
It's hard because you love a defendant who gets up there and just owns their shit, right? You love that. That's perfect, right? That's
Yeah.
a state's dream. But not so much today. State is
Yeah,
tell this guy to go sit down. We're done with him. No questions, Your Honor. Get off the stand.
like, yes, I did it. I hated to do it, but I did it, and it needed to be done.
Right.
Like, what? I bought a gun. It was too loud. Didn't want to alert the neighbors, even though God told me I could do this.
So I stabbed her 30-something times instead because that's quiet. Nobody makes any
Yeah.
noise when they're being stabbed 30-something times. I can't even imagine the crime scene. It must have been outrageous. Blood everywhere.
Blood and roses everywhere. I think that's exactly how they described it.
Jesus.
And so he used the roses as a delivery, like somebody was getting
part of the plan. The way to get in the house to make sure there were no other witnesses there. Said they were
That makes
for his
sense,
sister or whatever. Just to make sure she wasn't home. Like, this was premeditated. Every second of this was premeditated.
Yeah.
And you know what's funny is because he's a professional pianist or whatever, and he talks about, diligently working on these pieces. They're very complicated and all of this stuff. That's all the same kind of technique he used to murder this woman.
Mm-hmm.
Same kind of diligence, same kind of complicated technique, working everything out to the minute. He loved it.
I think he did too. I think he loved it, and I think that it was bound to happen, and if he's out, it'll happen again.
I think he's going to absolutely kill somebody before his life is over. I don't think he's
He
going to get
doesn't.
off here. I think he's going to go to jail for the rest of his life, and maybe death. I don't know. And I think while he's in jail, we're going to hear sometime down the line, 10 years from now, however many, that he killed another person in jail. Absolutely. I think he's got a taste for it, and I think he loved it way more than he's letting on. Because I'm sorry, if that were me up there, I would be, hyperventilating. I'd be sobbing. I would be probably throwing up at even reliving it. I don't, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know. I don't know what I expected him to give, but it wasn't this.
Right. Me either. I thought I was going to see a little bit of maybe some remorse, but anger at her even.
Right.
Show your anger. If you were that angry that she did what she did to that child, I would be angry.
Right. Where's that anger?
I am angry. Yeah.
All I'm seeing is calm, cool, and collected here. And meticulous planning. That's terrifying to me. That's serial killer vibes. Love to know how many other people you killed. And I'd still love the answer to my question. Why did her dad think you'd be okay to do this? What did you tell him? What did you tell this dad? What, maybe at the dad's trial, we'll hear some more of this, how this conversation went down. Because why would the dad even approach this guy, not once but twice, and offer him money to do this?
And listen, my friends know how she was 8 years old, Froggy girl. Hey, Carlos, good to see
Carlos.
you.
Hey, Melinda. Melinda's local.
I'm local, just got off work.
Baby daddy was arrested around 1:30. Yep, we just heard that.
Yes, can you believe that?
Due to his testimony, too. Like, they didn't even wait till he was finished testifying. They're like, go get him. That's enough.
Yeah, that's what I bet you they've been waiting on him to say that.
Yep. Go pick him up. That's enough. Damn. And I would get, conspiracy to commit murder, I'm guessing. I'm guessing that's what the charges are going to be. Something like that.
All three are in Greenville Detention Center. Oh, even the boyfriend.
Is the boyfriend that guy that was on the stand the other day in the orange?
With the hairdo? Yes.
Oh, he's so creepy looking.
Yes.
He looks like a child abuser.
Fiddler. Oh, yeah.
Gross. Yeah, he's nasty. So now he's going to be in the same prison that Dad and Zachary are in? So let me tell you.
We're going to need you on the scene. Get on the scene, Melinda.
Let me tell you who's going to be Zachary's next victim if they're all in the same jail together. Something's going to happen to that boyfriend. He's going to be gone. Yeah. Something's going to happen in the yard. Or at the lunch table.
I must have a friend convinced to go to the trial. Dadgummit. I guess Jim was right and I was wrong. That's all I can say to this one. Jim was right and I was wrong. I should have went. Even though the prosecution rested, the defense would have been worth it.
Yeah.
It's only 5 hours. I mean, I'm pretty sure I would have had to sleep in the snow in my van, but whatever. Jim didn't seem to care.
You need to buy one of those vans that's already a little apartment with a bed and a kitchen, and then you can just go wherever you want. Go wherever you want and sleep in your van.
I dream of those all the time. All the time. I look at them.
Me too. I watch them all the time on YouTube. Van tours. I love them. Love them so much, and they're awesome. You can get them with air conditioner, whole shower.
Yeah.
Kitchen, bed. You're set, man. You're set.
And I also, you know what else I love to watch? Apparently, people who have Airbnbs and they clean Airbnbs look forward to the stuff that's left behind.
Well, that's just
I
stealing.
never. I mean, like they want you to leave food and stuff unopened in the refrigerator. I didn't.
Are they going to
I
eat the
always,
food?
yep. If it's not been opened, they do.
Oh my gosh. Okay, wait. Melinda's saying I have met her. Who are you
Oh,
talking about? The mom?
the
I used
mom I've met.
I used to do dog rescue, but I have several friends that knew her. Are you talking about the mom?
Yes, because the mom worked at the woman that was murdered. She worked at the vet. She was a vet tech.
So, did you know that who's Parcell? Is that the woman? Is
That's
that the
the
that
murder
the
victim. Yeah.
okay? Did you? Oh, wow, Melinda, come take a link. Get up here, girl. Come talk to us.
Feel like talking?
Yeah, they're kind of expensive. Where your grandma? 250.
Oh, those are. I looked at one of those on Marketplace, and it was used with like a bunch of miles on it. No, the victim worked at Foothills, but yeah. Uh, boy, the Mercedes ones are nice. She
Yeah,
even need Christmas.
their vans. Yeah, they're super nice. I think they
And
last.
I also watched this guy that built a tiny home on the back of his little truck. I'm like,
Uh-huh.
I could do that. I could live in that.
Totally.
Or
Yeah.
not
All you
live.
need is a little bed and a little place and a place for water. A
Yeah.
little bucket to go to the restroom in. Get myself. Probably the most fancy part would be my Laveo dry flush toilet. Be like $900 or however much it is. Probably a lot of money. I don't even know how much money it is, but anyway. Yeah, heck yeah. And then just need a little bed to lay down in and some water and place to, a little hot stove or whatever thingy.
Yeah, a little hot plate.
That's what it is. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Just
So easy.
from now
Not
on,
hard at all.
I won't worry about having a whole stove. I'll just buy me a hot plate and take that sucker with me and just wherever I'm at.
It's only for a few days and then you come home.
Yeah.
You have to figure out how you're gonna shower though. Wash yourself. Maybe just do a little bird bath.
Yes.
That might be the little hard part. Is the showering in the truck, in the back of a truck. That would be hard because you can't really stand up.
Right.
So that would be rough. But
yeah, I have a potty. I have a pretty nice potty that I can.
That's the only thing. I'd want to make sure I had a good potty, and just a bed, and be fine. My computer, I'm set for life. That's all I need.
But where do you just go around getting internet from? I don't know.
Starbucks, and there's plenty of places that have open internet. Starbucks is one. You could use your phone as a hotspot.
Yeah,
There's
that's
the
true.
internet right there. And then you don't even have to pay for parking. You just park at the Walmart and then drive to the courthouse every day.
Yeah, that's what Dolly did.
Yeah. Did he live in his van too?
Yeah. Or it was like a camper.
A camper?
Thing.
Yeah. That's the way to do it. I'm telling you, when we get rich and famous, that's going to be one of the first things we get.
Okay.
The TCB RV.
Yeah, that's right.
The TCB RV. That's what it's going to be. And you're going to have a big old, our little logo can be on the front. Oh no, we have to be stealth. Never mind. It can't be that. It'll be a little magnet inside.
Oh wow, Melinda. Yeah, exactly. Really, used RVs are a dime a dozen here. Nice ones for 6,000, low mileage. Really?
See, they're not bad. You could, if you look around for a minute, I bet you could. Yeah, Cracker Barrel lets you park there. Like Lowe's, Home Depot, they let you park around in the back. It's hard, if you can park on a street, but you got to make sure that you cover all the windows and stuff, because if the police see you there, they'll knock on the door, and then you get the knock.
Yeah.
Then they ask you to move. So don't do that. But usually Walmart's are fine. And then you can get internet at the Starbucks. Go park in the Starbucks next to the door. I bet you get internet. It'll probably reach. Or you can use your phone as a hotspot.
My parents parked their RV at my house due to their HOA. Yeah, I know. Yeah, we don't have HOA, but Amer does. if they even try to vacuum out their camper, she gets a citation.
Oh, my
It's not
HOA.
funny, but
No, it's stupid. I hate my HOA. They're the same damn way. I look at somebody cross-eyed and I get a memo. First
yep.
warning. All right, fine. They're like, you have boxes in your window. I'm like, it's a box of tissues. My God, I can't even put my box
Right.
of tissues in the windowsill without somebody having a problem. Go sit down
I
somewhere.
mean,
Ridiculous.
said it sucks. Yeah, she wanted to have a yard sale. That was a big to do.
Oh
I
yeah,
mean,
no.
like they don't just get to.
So ridiculous. I'm like, you realize I pay you, right? Like you realize this. Like, supposedly you work
Yeah, it's
for me, not the other way around. It's not like you pay me. Stupid. I hate having our HOA. They're a pain in the ass.
Paisley. I have thought about that. $10 a month for Planet Fitness, free showers at any
Yes,
location. A lot of people do that.
van lifers do that. A lot of them do. Yep, and it's nationwide. You can go anywhere.
And you know what? I would not mind that in the summer, but in the wintertime, the thought of walking down to that bathhouse that they were talking about where I was at that campground, it was so cold outside and raining.
But Planet Fitness will be inside and it'll be warm and you'll be all
Oh
right.
yeah, it's different. It's different if I plan on it, but if I
Yeah,
expect to have hot water, I guess it just was a totally different.
yeah,
Plus, I got pissed.
yeah. Well, I don't blame you because you paid good money for that. So
Yeah. And I cleaned it like there was a little vacuum there, and I vacuumed it like I shouldn't have because I paid that very expensive cleaning fee. Well,
why did you clean it then?
I don't know because
Just
mainly for myself. I didn't want walking.
yeah.
It kept. I mean, it rained the whole time I was there. I didn't want to get the floor dirty. So
Pammy B, I saw that. Letitia is back, girl.
I
And
hope
she's
she.
engaged. She's engaged. She's free. She's allowed to be on the internet if she wants to be. And
She didn't seem okay to me.
she
She
seems a
seemed
little
a little. Yeah,
manic, a little crazy, a little crazy cray. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, she doesn't seem like she's as good as she's trying to let on. I'm a little nervous
Mm-mm.
about her fiance. Like, where did this guy come from?
Well,
Uh,
see, I knew she was engaged, and the reason is because she came up on my people you might know on Facebook.
oh, nice.
Yeah,
Um,
and of course, I went and I did look at her profile, and it said she was engaged. I don't think it's an open profile, but
they've been together like only 8 months or something. So,
she wanted everybody to see that ring. She was flashing it.
oh yeah, she was flashing it in her videos too today. Very
That's what
excited.
I meant.
Oh, yeah,
At
yeah,
first, she's like, I was so excited I couldn't sleep, and then later on, she's like, and my cat woke me up. Okay, wow,
right. And she's just, and she's still saying things like they stole her son. And no, they didn't steal your son. You gave him up. You did not want him. And they told you over and over and over that you could not undo it. And you said, okay.
right,
And then now you wanted to undo it. You can't. They didn't steal him. They adopted him.
yeah. And
So
you
that's
was smoking weed while you were in labor, while they were dragging you out of the car. And I will never forget that because they're like, get out of the car. And she just so calmly lit her weed pipe and said, no, nah, don't wanna.
yeah. So it makes me nervous, her getting back on the internet, you know?
Yeah,
Yeah,
me
it's
too.
the same channel. I was subscribed to it already. So that's how I saw it.
Me too. It was in my feed today. I was like, oh.
Yeah.
And then somebody shared it too. Hat Man, I think. So, but I hope I'm going to discourage anybody from covering her because
That's
I
what she
just
went
don't think it's a good idea.
I just hope she's okay, honestly. Makes me nervous. Her getting back online. This wasn't a good thing for her mentally.
No. Mm-mm.
And, you know, she's happy with her life the way it is. Well, this is not the way to keep that. If you're going to be here online showing your ass and being ridiculous, you're not going to keep the things in your life that you've worked hard to get. And I hope she realizes.
Right. You've done well. Don't do it.
Right. Seems like you've worked really hard to get a normal, happy life. Don't throw it all away because you want to be on the internet.
Yeah, because there's nothing. I mean, there's nothing here for you. It's not. I hate to say that, but it's not.
You're right. There is nothing here. She said she's getting along with her dad, her mom. She's engaged. Like she's got a lot of good things going for her. This place is not the place to go to keep that. So what are we doing? Are they not coming back?
I don't know. It says live court is on a short break. I think they're lying.
Well, Court TV puts up a poll for pick your tunes. So they've obviously given up.
Oh, have they? I had
Yeah.
to mute them because I didn't want to hear it. It
They
scared
said-
me when it started playing.
They said, based on today's testimony, investigators with the Greenville County Sheriff's Office have arrested 64-year-old John Joey Mello in connection with the death of Parcell. Damn. That is not
Babe kicks his ass as soon as he gets in there, and I'm pretty sure he can do it too. Because this little wiener looks like he needs a knife.
So I wonder if they're trying to say that he put Zachary up to this.
Well, he asked him to do it twice. I mean,
yeah, but we don't have any proof of that. We just have Zachary.
I was gonna say, you know what? Look, I'd say prove it. That's
right. It doesn't seem like enough to arrest the guy, but maybe they have more than we know.
You know, either he's a lying liar who lies, or he's an honest person. Which one is it?
Right.
Can't be both.
Right.
Yeah, they already had lunch for your grandma. He got up there and said things he wasn't supposed to say, and they said testimony and other evidence. They did say that.
Yeah, I hope they have something else, because just that testimony, I don't know that that's enough.
So I don't know. I mean, do we yet another day of sitting and waiting? We're getting sick of you, sir.
Yeah.
Oh, Captain America.
Don't you dare insult my Captain America.
You're right. As soon as I said it, I thought, ugh, shouldn't have said that. He wasn't in jail. He was in town for his harassment charge. He is now.
That's unfortunate. I would have
Yeah,
stayed.
that would suck. Yeah.
I can't even believe he's in the country. Go run, dude. You got what you wanted. You got your daughter. Run to Italy. Make them extradite you.
But no, you just hand it to him. Like,
Or
here.
don't. Stay local and let them just come to your door and arrest your dumbass.
Okay. Donna, he said, I guess he got 6 months for contempt for saying that stuff today on the stand.
Woo! 6 months. Damn. Damn. 6 months? That's a whole ass sentence. That's not just contempt. That's a whole ass jail sentence. Damn.
Yes. Let me see if it says anything about coming back.
And I think they're going to end up with a mistrial. 6 months. I mean, not like he cares. He's going to be in jail the rest of his life.
Yeah.
But still, 6 months.
I just took 6 months for doing what's right.
Right. Yeah, you're a hero, sir. And that bothers me. He wants to be seen as a hero so badly.
Yeah. I'm seeing what the consensus is in the
chat. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you. I think they think he's weird.
Yeah. Well, he is.
No, definitely
Does
not.
does he serve the 6 month after the death penalty? I don't know. Is it consecutive or is that concurrent? 6 months. That's crazy. I've never heard of a contempt sentence that long. That is insane. Usually it's 2 days or Judge Chuckles 10
10.
days.
Yeah.
He loved that 10-day threat.
Sent you an email with a link to Greenville County court cases in case you want to look at any of it. Thank you. Thank you so much, Mama Stone. I appreciate that. All the places they named where he played, I frequent. I'm not into the arts. Kudos to those that are, but how many times did I walk by that dude? Really?
Whoa, that's freaky. What's your take on this guy, Melinda? He's given me serial killer vibes. What do you think of him?
Yeah, like he was looking forward to this and planned it like a really long time.
Oh, absolutely he did. Meticulous planning.
Thank you so much, Mama Stone. Was it Falls Park on Valentine's Day with the whatever you call it? Oh, I don't know.
So they're not saying. I looked in the description because that's usually what they're say. Well, where they will say what he's looking at if convicted, but they didn't here. He was stabbed. Parcell was stabbed approximately 31 times in her home, and rose petals were scattered around her body. Investigators linked Hughes to Parcell through Hughes' friend, John Mello. At the time of Parcell's death, she was in custody battle with Mello over their shared daughter. But they don't say like what he's facing.
Dexter.
Yes, and that's exactly what it is. It is Dexter. That's exactly what it is.
Except Dexter wouldn't have got caught.
Right? Yeah, because that's a TV show.
That's true. Yeah. I bet you he lets these people go for the day.
I think he will. I think it's going to be a mistrial.
Well, damn it.
The mom looks
Well,
like a normal, nice person too.
absolutely.
So crazy. There's like 5 key evidence. Do you want to look at some of that while we're waiting?
Sure.
Okay, here. I mean, it's long, but we can do this while we're waiting for anybody who's not caught up. And just keep an eye on Court TV. I've got my eye on it. If they come back, I'll let you
Yeah,
know.
I'm watching. All right, it's added.
And so back to 121 Cambridge. You said you identified a ring camera.
Yes.
Okay. Tell us a little bit about that.
So I met with the homeowner there. I believe his name is Chris, and he had multiple activations of his Ring doorbell camera. And staying there with him, we went through that, and there was multiple vehicles that went by and set off his activations. Well, in the process of doing this, we realized at 9:15 there was a car that passed. And when that car passed, you could see the front porch of 122. There was what appears to be a male stepping into the front door. And then it goes away because it's a short clip, motion activated, and there was no more motion from the road because the car had passed. We continued to backtrack, and we were able to see that at 8:07 that morning, Ms. Parcell's vehicle is leaving. And there's multiple other activations throughout this time frame.
All right. And you've reviewed the ring camera at 121.
Yes, I did.
All right. I'm going to play for you State's Exhibit
14.
Okay.
All right, can you describe, you can play it again, describe this to this jury what you're seeing in the background there and what caused the Ring camera to.
All right, so the white SUV that passed by activates the camera. And while watching this video, you see 2 points of motion. You see the vehicle first, and then in the background, you'll see the suspect, possible suspect, stepping into the front door. Looks like a gray sweatshirt, a backpack, and dark in color pants.
Can you see that?
Now, have you reviewed
Yeah.
stills?
You want me to rewind it? Here, it's right here. Hang on a second. We're back. We're back. Here,
Oh,
we're back. There it is.
well, did you add it?
Yes.
Thank you all for your patience as we go about this trial.
Are we still on stand?
Disregard the last comments that you heard. I also want to just remind you, as I've stated from the outset of this trial, that I'm the sole judge of the law in this case. And while you, the jury, sit as the sole judge of the facts, and part of my role is to make determinations about what evidence can and cannot be admitted and presented to you, the jury, and that gatekeeping role rests solely with me, the judge on the law. And I want to instruct you that you're not to consider any testimony that I have instructed you to disregard, and furthermore, you should not even mention or discuss any testimony that I have instructed you to disregard.
He's already
And I
said all
instruct you
this.
not to discuss any topics that have been ruled improper when you deliberate. Thank you.
Zach, just got a few more questions.
Mhm.
So after you left Canebrake, isn't it true that you rode your bike back to your truck, which was parked within the vicinity? Isn't that true?
Yes.
And then you drove your truck back to the mountain house. Isn't that true?
That's true.
After you got to the mountain house, isn't it true that you disposed of the gun and the knife in a nearby lake? Isn't that true?
Yes, that is true.
And isn't it true that the clothes you were wearing, that you burned those clothes in a fire pit at the mountain house? Isn't that true?
Yes.
He's moved on to yes or no questions because he doesn't want this guy giving any more speeches. Just answer yes or no, sir. Don't even.
Yeah.
Because normally he would say, "What did you do next? Then what did you do? Then what did you do?" Now he's not saying any of that now.
Yeah. Prosecution's gonna be like, I have no questions.
Absolutely. Get him off. Goodbye.
I want to talk about towards the end of October, beginning of November. Isn't it true that at the very beginning of November 2021, you had obtained a plane ticket to fly overseas? Isn't that true?
Yes, that's true.
And you were going to go overseas departing from Detroit. Is that correct?
Yes, it is.
And while you were in Detroit, isn't it true that you received a phone call making you aware that there were warrants pending for your arrest?
That is true.
And after you were notified of the pending warrants, isn't it true that you rented a car, drove back in the middle of the night to Greenville, and ultimately turned yourself in? Isn't that true?
Yes, that is true.
Hmm.
1 second.
And he thought, isn't it true, sir, that you thought you would be welcomed with a round of applause and cheers from the police force? Yes, that is true.
Right.
Is that what happened? No, it is not. They arrested me. The nerve.
Did you get a medal? No, I did not.
No, I did not.
Just a moment. Well, can I see Council?
No, you can't.
Oh, for goodness sake. Y'all talked enough. Oh, for goodness sake. Millie, come here, baby. Come here, honey. Oh boy, she's missing.
So he turned himself in.
Yeah, he found out that there were warrants for himself. Him. So he came in. He's like,
Even though he was.
Did y'all want to talk to me? Y'all have questions?
Y'all welcome.
I did you a favor. No need to thank me. You're welcome. It was my pleasure.
Or your grandma.
Oh, go sit down. Good. State's not going to ask him anything. I knew it. I called it, girl. I said,
I did too.
So did you. Nope. State don't want to hear anything from him. Nope.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we are going to break for the day.
Look at Judge smiling like nothing's wrong. Nothing's wrong. It's fine.
Yeah. We're all okay.
We're all okay over here. Everything's okay, guys.
Maybe tomorrow will be cross.
I love that face. Oh my God, that smile. I just want to put flames all around him,
Yes.
It's fine. It's fine. We're good.
It's because they're done for the day. There will be a
Ladies and
cross.
gentlemen, we are going to break
Yes,
for the
Right.
day. And I'm going to ask that y'all return at 10:30 tomorrow morning. I'm hoping that we're not going to have bad weather, but just potentially that will
Yeah, talk about the weather. I'm sure that'll totally erase what they're going to go home and think about all night.
give a little extra
Yes.
time, and also for me to take up a few things that I need to do.
Like process this fucker's contempt of court sentence.
With the attorneys.
Yes.
I want to again thank you on behalf of the state of South Carolina and Greenville County for your service. I am so grateful for your attentiveness and abiding by all my admonitions to you. And again, I just remind you, do not watch anything on this. Do not discuss this. Do not begin deliberating until I tell you. Okay? I hope you all have a wonderful evening. Thank you.
Thank you. Pay no attention to everything you heard today. Pay no attention to any allegations.
Yeah. Look at that look on his face like, yes, I did say that. Y'all heard it. Sleep
Sure
on
did.
it. Let me know what you think tomorrow.
It is. That's exactly
Wow.
what is on his face. He's got a sure did, and I'd do it again.
Yep. Did the world a favor.
Well,
Got her daddy arrested today. I guess y'all hadn't heard that. Oh, Lord.
I wonder if he knows. I wonder if he knows that.
He probably ain't going to know till he walks in the jail and gets that punch right in the nose.
Hey, you're home. Well, no wonder, because your girl was whining a second ago, so she must have heard you come in. All right. I'm good. I'm live. How was work?
Fantastic.
Good. Good. My son says hi, everybody.
Hey.
Wait till you hear about this murder case that we're covering right now. You're gonna die. It's fucking crazy.
You want to tell me later?
It
I
is.
will. I'll tell you later. Yeah, I think we're getting off right now.
All right.
So I'll tell
Yeah.
you. Done.
Love you, Mom.
I love you, baby. Asher's with the groomer.
Oh, perfect.
So
I'll bring her in when they drop her off.
thank you so much, honey. Okay, sorry about that, guys. Excuse the interruption. That's my boy. He's home. Well, not my boy, Millie's boy. He's home now. Happy. Do you want to finish watching the 5 key pieces of evidence thing that we were watching, or do you want to just end for the day? It's been almost 4 hours, so it's up to
Oh
you.
yeah, we can just end for the day. I'm ready. I'm
Okay.
ready.
All right. Well, we'll be back
Thanks
tomorrow.
for coming up. Yep. See y'all tomorrow. Tomorrow ought to
guys.
be even better. Bye, y'all.
Bye, guys.